deny my name. I'm the whining boy. Don't deny my name, deny my name. I'm the whining boy. Don't deny my name. Pick it up and shake it like sweet staving chains. I'm the whining boy, and I don't deny my name. I'm the whining boy. Don't deny my name. I'm the whining boy. Don't deny my name. Deny my name. I'm the whining boy. Don't deny my name. Pick it up and shake it like sweet staving chains. I'm the whining boy, and I don't deny my name. deny my name. I'm the whining boy. Don't deny my name, deny my name. I'm the whining boy. Don't deny my name. Pick it up and shake it like sweet staving chains. I'm the whining boy, and I don't deny my name.
Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome into episode 3 of City of Light and Shadow, a Fate condensed French resistance campaign. And I'm happy to see you all here. It is a lovely, lovely Friday evening over here on the East Coast, and I'm happy to see all of your smiling faces. I mean, I can't actually see your faces, but I see you all in chat. So it is lovely to have you here, and I'm happy to have you present for our third episode. This is a campaign where we have a group of resistors struggling in 1941 Paris, so it's very early in the occupation. trying to stand up and do what's right for I suppose everybody, but they will all have complicated lives that will make that somewhat difficult. I feel like we should introduce our characters first, our players and our characters, and then we will do some general housekeeping. So if you all might introduce yourselves, who are you and what character are you playing? And let's start, we'll go alphabetically around the table, and we'll start with JF, Double Crits. Who are you and who are you playing?
I'm JF Jean-François in this game and in Montreal. I'm playing, I'm at Double Crits on Twitter. I'm playing Jules César, a demobilized French soldier of a mixed race who has returned to Paris, to an occupied Paris, and has joined La Résistance.
Mm-hmm. And Holy Stiver,
what is up?
Who are you and what are you doing?
Hello, everybody. My name is James Stiver, and yes, you can find me as Holy Stiver out in the Twitterverse, and if you just Google that, you'll figure out what I do. I do stuff. But I am playing, you don't care about that shit. You care about me playing Tango, who is a roguish American black marketeer. Kind of thrust in a situation he'd rather not be in, but trying to make the best of it now.
Mm-hmm. And next
currently
up,
with this
banana shirt, by the way. That's important. That's important
to the story.
Next up is Little Red Dot. Who are you and who are you playing?
I'm Little Red Dot. Most days. I'm Little Red Dot. I'm a GM and a digital storyteller, and officially the Twitch producer for the Dad's Garage Theater Twitch network. So that's a thing that's happened in the last 2 weeks, which I'll talk about at the end. Today, I am back with your Kurt German Regina, who is a lover of art and humanity, even though she's kind of a killer.
Kind of?
They don't know that yet.
Sorry, I was just asking.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, she kills on the dance floor. She kills on the dance floor.
Which we're going to find out tonight at a party.
And the fourth member of our crew, Rockette Fox, who are you and who are you playing?
Asking me these deep questions so early in the evening.
Who are you?
So yeah, I am Rockette Fox. I can be found pretty much anywhere online. If you look up Rockette Fox on all the medias, you'll find me there. And I have some fun stuff coming up that likewise I will share at the end, because you're not going to remember it through all of this butt-clenching adventure that's about to come up. But for the purposes of this fine evening, I am Sylvie Morel. I am also biracial character, Asian American expat who has lived in Paris for a little over 10 years, but as a jazz singer, going here and there, speaking her mind, hanging out with the gentleman on occasion, and whatnot, and hopefully making her way through questionable situations. And I do also have to say, Stiver, I loved the belly cat that was on your floor there a second ago.
You're welcome. The belly cat, we'll call him the stream cat, or the pod cat, as we typically call him on the podcast I'm in. We'll probably make a lot of belly flops over there in this general area. And you're welcome, everyone, for that.
And I am Trooper SJP, and I am GMing this motley crew and not the 80s hair metal band, this one actually here. And so let me tell you, we're using the Fate core system, Fate Condensed, which is a new version of Fate, which is condensed down to 50 pages, and you can get it for free. It's pretty awesome with some modifications. And there are a couple of things you might want to know about the game. First off, our heroes desperately struggling against the forces of fascism. And we have something that there are many ways that you as an audience member can support the show. You can be here, which is always great. Sort of being here is wonderful. Thank you so much for viewing. You can also, if you like, there's a Patreon, which I'm using to support this show. So if you want to do the Patreon, you can do so. And then I think here's what it is. Here you go. And also I swapped those nameplates. So that's it will at some point in time show up. Maybe it won't. There it is. Also, you can host the show if you like. You can tweet it out or retweet that we're live to get more eyeballs in. And another thing that you can do is that we have channel points, which are extra credit. And if you spend 5,000 channel points, you can redeem and you can give this crew a fate point. Right now, Ice Bunny, one of our loyal fans, has given 2 fate points to you all. So you have 2 more, which you might need, bringing to a total of 10. And that represents. Oh, and 1 more from Ice Bunny. Ice Bunny normally cannot be here live because she is in Denmark, but that's 3, and you're limited to 4 a session. But that is a little bit of fate points, and don't even be worried about the fact that you might need them. Oh, and we get our last one from Krellin. Thank you. Vive la Resistance. And I am sure our crew will appreciate those things
Definitely
happening for them. So that I think is all of our... Oh, I should also say, if you donate or tip, I will read out the donation message at our break, so at mid-space. And I think that is it. And so we can begin. When we last left our crew, it was Monday, and also nameplates have been swapped. When we last left our crew, it was Monday night, May the 12th, 1941. Our intrepid resistance fighters were in Cafe Bricktop, which is the nightclub and cabaret currently owned by Sylvie Moreau. And it is an expat jazz club and cabaret where all sorts of bohemian people sort of come and meet, and she sings, and it's this wonderful place. But it is also a place where resistance members, fledgling resistance members, have a bit of an underground safe house in their basement where they hide and smuggle out art and other objects. Of
late, it's been populated, as it turns out.
As of late, it has been populated with some people. In the basement at this moment, they have got a downed American flyer who they have a date. They need to get him. They need to forge some paperwork for him, an ID, get a photograph, and forge some paperwork for him so he can get out of the country. And in 2 days' time, Wednesday night, there's going to be there's the pickup. They're going to drop him off with one of the members of the Comet Line, which is a line that an underground railroad of sorts, which takes down flyers out of occupied territory through France into Spain and then back up into London and then out. And they're going to give him some paperwork, some documentation that they want to give to London. They're going to get him out. That's in 2 days' time. They've got to keep him on ice until then. Although there seems to have been some sort of compromise with that network, which they have to worry about. They also have in their basement a family of Polish Jewish refugees who have made their way into the basement because they heard from someone from Sylvie's past that she was a safe place to be. Also on at this moment, their bar it's late. Their bar is about ready to be shut down. Their bartender Charlie has sort of moved most of the people out, except for these two French women who have been given 2 free drinks and are sort of hanging out because they think they might have a lead. They think that Regina and crew will be able to get them into a party, a very fancy party, a very important party, a kind of a hush-hush party, with all those who need to be seen are apparently going to be at a party tomorrow night, and including a bunch of art. Apparently great art will be there as well. And so our crew is going to try to figure out how to get into this party, a party that it seems that our Jules will be delivering things to tomorrow morning. And so as our scene arises, it is that moment where the bars, it's closing time. These 2 women are in the front waiting to try to figure out what if they actually do have a connect to be able to get into this party, and our 4 members are behind the curtain, the sort of red velvet curtain that separates the cabaret bar itself from sort of the back area where there's a little bit of a break room and or a break area and the stairs down to the basement. And they are sort of thinking about what to do at this moment. And before you actually move, I will ask you a question, because I like to ask a question of our crew with each episode. And you're sort of in this moment where you've had these Nazis come into your bar, leave under slightly stressful circumstances.
You know, that could have been for any reason, really.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
It's another day.
Yeah.
Really.
And maybe now
Jessica.
maybe Regina will now be a turncoat for the Nazis. She was asked, not really an ask, it was more like a tell, but it was an offer.
I have a card.
You have a card.
I didn't even know what's on the card. Is it a number? Is it just his name?
It's his name. It's his official calling card.
So I can just like flash it?
Yeah.
Does it have contact information? I mean,
It does. It tells because they've moved into one of these fancy hotels and they've just taken it over. So this card will get you access to him.
You flash and he just appears.
Yes,
Okay.
he just appears. And so the question I would like to ask you all is that in your own way, each one of you is an outsider living in France in a different way, is a different sort. So the question I want to ask each one of you is, how do you feel about being an outsider? And how do you feel about France? And let's start backwards. Roquette, Sylvie is an outsider in France. She is not French, she's an American. How does she feel about being an outsider? But she was also an outsider in the United States as well. So how does she feel about being an outsider, and how does she feel about France?
She loves it. She thinks it's fantastic. Because as you said, she was an outsider in the US as well. Only the US at the time was far less accepting of her particular type of outsidery. Plus, as we know, Paris is a hotbed of sequins and jewels and fancy foods and fancy drinks and things like that. And it's a place where someone like her can own a bar and rise to a modicum of renown and success and things like that, whereas that just simply wouldn't be able to happen. So she really has not known anything but being an outsider. So it being in Paris is delightful for her.
Dot. Regina passes herself off as a French woman sometimes and sometimes not, but yet she is an outsider to France. And in some ways, she's also now an outsider to her country as well. What is her relationship to being an outsider, and what is her relationship to France?
Well, Regina made a choice. and she chose it for a reason. And she knew she would be alone after that, or at least she thought she would. And then she found the resistance.
Mhm.
But she thinks France is beautiful. I mean, she's a historian and an artist in her own right, and like, you know, she she has found a place in France because she's had to, but she also weeps for her country, right? Because of its leadership. Oh, what a metaphor for today's times.
What?
So there's this idea of like, yes, I haven't abandoned Germany.
Yeah.
I'm part of a rebellion to make things right for my country and its people and everyone who was at one time a mutual friend of Germany, right?
And an actual friend, not just the way that
right, an actual friend, like a of the country itself. I mean, Germany has its own right of art and culture and things that came out of it that was isn't tarnished forever because of that.
Oh, Stiver, Tango.
Yeah.
A man who doesn't even let people know his real name.
No. So this is going to be very interesting because, as probably, like, again, that's all you have to say is he's not even a man who tells his real name to anyone, even the women he's flirting with, right? Doesn't do that at all. I think that he's at home in strange places, basically always being an outsider. But I will tell you that what he doesn't like and where he's feeling right now is he doesn't like trapped, though. In his previous life, he could always go and a little bit of an insider information. He is a huge mama's boy, and he will go and he wants to, visit his mama whenever he can. Right? And right now he's not able to. And right now he's not able to freely do all the other, because he'll do everything else. Everything else is free for him to go and be in all these weird situations. And it almost feels better to be someone else and in some other situation. But in this situation particularly, it has him feeling all kinds of ways because he can't actually get out of this at any point. There's literally a zone of Nazis stopping him from doing whatever he wants right now. So, yeah.
I have a question for Tango.
Yeah. Yes, you. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Yeah, Sylvia.
Yes. My question is,
Fox, Sylvie, whatever you are right now.
Did his mom give him the banana shirt?
No, this particular banana. Now, here's what I would like to think. If we were actually going back, in time, this was filmed like as a
inquiring minds need to know.
I know.
Right. No. So the banana shirt was actually, first off, James Stiver's mother actually got him this shirt. Bam.
Every woman in chat just fell in love with you.
Sorry, because I love my mama. All right. Anyways, sorry, that was very embarrassing. I didn't mean to say that.
No, it's lovely.
It's not. It's endearing, James.
Okay. Anyways, but no, what I like to think is that this was in the back of the. If you remember, this is actually picked this up. Like, is this in the wardrobe area?
Yep.
But I'd like to think he had one of these shirts at home that his mom got him that he would never wear out in public. But then he got it. He was like, no, I'm wearing that. I'm doing that. Here we go. So no, not Tango's mother, though he probably has a shirt and that's why he picked this up. He's like, no, I'm going to feel a little more like home.
I like it. I like that.
JF, Jules, born in France, but nonetheless still seen as an outsider and treated that way. How does Jules feel about being an outsider or seen that way, and how does Jules feel about France?
Jules has many feelings about France that he cannot exactly put into words, given his level of education and all this. But his unique experience has given him some insight into how French society works. He's lived there all his life and has always been asked where he came from. And so he feels conflicted about being French.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's never been to Martinique, where his mother is from,
Mm-hmm.
and he never knew his father, a French soldier who died in the First World War. So he believes that France fell, and knows, like most people in France, that France fell because, and is collaborating because of its fear of communism,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore encouraged ideologies that highlighted differences.
Mm-hmm.
And so he hopes that if France is liberated, a new society will emerge, a socialist one, where he will feel more at home.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's beautiful. And so, with these sort of thoughts on your mind, we open up the curtain onto the stage, and you are all back in this area with these two women out front, but the bar itself sort of basically quiet as it's being shut down, and a group of people in your basement. What do you do?
Let's have a drink.
Well, since most everyone is gone, I imagine we can get Charlie to make us the coffee now.
Yes. I'm very happy for that. I sit for the first time all night.
And the minute you go back into the front room, the two women, the two German women, the two French women, they look at you expectantly, and they're still waiting.
I turn to Regina. I'm like, "What? Why are they still here?"
I walk.
Madams, would you like to join us for a few drinks?
I'll break out a bottle of wine, cheap sort.
Yeah,
Yes.
the cheaper the better, please.
Yes, agreed. Agreed.
They sit and they join you at, like, you know, they sort of pull up at the table that you're at, and it's one of the larger ones. And they clearly are a little antsy because it's getting late. We're past curfew, and they're here for something, and they're looking expectantly.
I know. Okay. Pour him a drink. I'm gonna wait till we pour him a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just and I'm gonna act cool, calm, and collected. I'm gonna say, I actually wrote down my plan, you guys, last week. She says, I am sorry. She's just not sure that Jeanette would accept such. Maybe you could let Jeanette know that Sylvie and I are interested in attending.
And they look a little confused. And there's a brunette.
That's my goal.
There's a brunette, and she sort of leans to you because she doesn't really want to say this in a way that Sylvie can hear. Now,
Sylvie has very good hearing.
And you're also all at the same table, but so it's not like you're not going to hear this if you are listening, but she's trying to not have you hear this. And she says, but you told us that Mademoiselle Sylvie was going to be performing at the party.
No, I said that she could if we get her in the door.
But you said you could get us in the door.
I can. If we can convince Jeanette to wrangle up a few extra invitations. And if she knew that Sylvie was interested.
And
unfortunately, I
she
have
looks
no way of
disappointed.
contacting her directly. But I bet you do.
And they look so disappointed. I'm like, oh.
I don't give a flying Frenchman's ass.
Trooper, I got a question as this is happening. As
Yes.
I'm kind of sitting back, just
Yeah.
leaning on the bar, and I've already done the whole thing where I've seen her invitation, right?
No, you've not
No.
seen her invitation. You've seen her autograph.
Autograph. Okay, I haven't seen the invitation.
Mm-hmm.
The only person who's seen that
Was
is
Sylvie in the food line.
That's right. And so I'm gonna like lean over to Sylvie and be like, how easy do you think it would be to copy that invitation?
Well, I mean, if we had it here, I think it would be much easier. There was definitely some scroll work.
Oh, scroll work. Ugh, gross.
You
Oh,
wouldn't think the Nazis
scroll
did
work.
that, but
And the women sort of hear you moaning in the background, and they're still in there like,
I bet they put like little sticks and sausages and shit too. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. Go on. Anyways, all right. I'm just wondering.
and they throw, and like one of them just turns it and says, they don't have a way in.
I simply flash his card. I do not hand it to them. Mine. But I do show it to them.
ladies, can I offer either of you a cup of fine French coffee?
Not the coffee. I look at her like, don't waste it on these broads.
They
Have some more wine.
they look at you and they say, coffee. Let's go. They clearly do not believe you that it's actual coffee.
How about this? I'll ask Jeanette myself.
I wave Charlie over. I indicate that above their heads that I want her to pour small glasses.
Tiny. I
Like
didn't bring that
espresso.
much.
We're talking like little espressos.
Espressos.
I'll have her bring them over.
Water in them.
With some water. And Charlie sort of nods and goes, and says out loud, do you mean the actual coffee?
Yes, of course, for our guests.
And the two women sort of, they're about to get up and leave.
Is
because-
coffee illegal?
No, it's just
Okay.
impossible to get. And if you have it, there's some questions about where you might have gotten it.
We have been hoarding for a while, so consider this an offering.
And-
This is the last of what we have.
They sit because they're not going to pass up actual coffee rather than chicory water that's all brown and gross. And Charlie goes to make the coffee, and you can smell it.
Oh,
No more coffee.
Like you can
Tasting apples.
smell, like you've been having watered down gross stuff for some time. And you know, because the thing is right now that France is under blockade, right? I mean, it's really difficult to get gas, chocolate, coffee. There's so many food. It's hard to get a lot of things, and because they're just not coming into the country. And as you smell this coffee, Tango, you had coffee recently because you just came here from the UK.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have, that was the first thing I did. As I came in, I woke up, I had some coffee, I looked for a cigarette. Like that was my day.
But
Yeah.
the rest
Jealous.
of you have not had coffee in so long. And there's that moment where they smell it too. And they just like, it's like that sort of moment where you just sit and you're like, oh.
I'm going to go
assuming
over
if
to.
this works,
sorry.
we'll be able to get a hold of some at this party that we're going to completely drain of all of the resources.
Which I'm sure you don't say out loud in front of these women.
No, but I'm thinking it. I'm
I
thinking
wouldn't have put it past her just to say that. And just look at the women like,
I know.
You're in this
Like,
now.
no.
You're in this with us. People resistance.
I'm like, what? No.
Okay. I'll go sit with them as I wait for the coffee. And I sit down and I cross my legs and I lean in. And I simply say, how about this? Do you know how to get a hold of Jeanette?
And they are skeptical, a tad nervous, perhaps. They're a
Look.
little bit. I want a report from you, is what I want.
Damn it. I knew it.
This is what I want from you.
This is what, well, asking
Also,
ye
we're
shall
talking
receive a
some
one.
fine coffee.
Let me get you
One.
back over there. Well,
Wouldn't that
oh,
help with the rapport that we're giving them access to something they have not?
Oh, yeah. Can I buy an aspect? Will you buy
that's some-
coffee?
That's some rare
Ooh,
coffee.
Yes,
shit
you
you're just
can.
giving them. Yeah.
Yes, you can.
The delicious
negotiating with
aroma
you right now,
fills each
Trooper.
nostril.
For this situation.
I feel like this is not really a negotiation. I feel like spend that fate point.
Okay.
What yours or the groups? Where be like?
I feel like this is going to benefit the group in this scene in totality. So I'm going to spend
Mhm.
if they're all on our side. So I'm going to spend the fate point for the group.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to delete it. Right. Check.
Mhm.
And I simply lean in and I say, look, we're just trying to be genuine, and your interests piqued mine. We would love to attend such a gathering. It would be good for our bar. I mean, look at it. I simply gesture to the state of it. So I understand if you are not interested. I'm just saying I have no way of contacting Jeanette to ask her myself.
And the brunette, who's the talker, and who's perhaps the most skeptical, she looks like she's not going to go for it. You think it's not going to happen? And
She's
then,
about to ask to see the manager, isn't she?
and then she is.
That's the kind of girl she is.
And then Charlie just comes in and puts these little espresso cups on the table. And with the smell of the actual coffee,
Go and do that.
that skepticism just
I pick it up
turns.
and I sip it right in front of him first.
Oh. Well, and she just takes the little cup of coffee and she smells it.
Before she takes a drink, I'm gonna.
Oh.
Slap it out of her hand. Slap it out of her hand.
This is actually a torture scene.
Before she takes a drink.
Oh my.
Now, what did you say your name was again?
And they both look at each other, and the brunette goes, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, that's a beautiful name. Now, you did come and see Jeanette perform here before, did you not?
Well, tonight.
Tonight, you saw how much she adored being on stage here, didn't you?
We did. And it's very clear that they also know that she is not a good singer. And
Well-
the coffee is like, oh my.
Well, you know, I'm sure she would also be very grateful if I were to let her know, Jacqueline, that you and what's your name? I asked the other girl.
Simone.
Simone, that the both of you lovely ladies were integral in getting her to perform here again.
And Jacqueline just she realizes that your cigarette holder is not going anywhere at the moment, and she says, "Look, if we tell you where to find her, then you put in a. Can you assure us that we can get into this party?"
My dear girls, I would assure you of nothing less.
Last time I checked, these two gentlemen didn't have dates.
And this is a fancy party, is it not?
What would they be without the most beautiful women?
And Jacqueline sort of thinks about it, and since you've moved your cigarette holder, she just then takes the coffee. And then she sips
Oh, she
it,
means us. Hold on. Hello. I'm listening now.
and Jacqueline
Hi.
says, "Oh, well, I would certainly be happy to be accompanied by the American." And then Simone looks, and she looks a little disappointed that she's going to have a black man be her accompaniment. And she's like,
Not gonna work.
and she's like, well, says Simone, she's only if you aren't seen with me at the party.
Excuse me. Either you're seen with my friend or you're not going to the party.
Did I mention how
It will only cause trouble.
No, I think bringing them may actually cause trouble at this point if they're not accepting of a few things in life.
And then Jacqueline says, no, we can be,
You know, you can go and put the coffee down now. I'm sorry, but
I look at him like, what are you getting at here? And I put a hand on him and I say, you're right. You're welcome to leave if you'd like.
And Jacqueline is, and Simone is about to leave because she's a little bit insulted that she might have to be at a party with a black man. But Jacqueline's like, no, and like grabs onto Simone. I'm sure Simone will have no problem being at the party in the very beginning to be escorted there.
All you have to do is walk in with us.
just walking in with us. We don't actually want to be seen with you at the party at this point. I'm just gonna walk away from that.
I can pose as the driver.
This is a possible idea. The American could take 2 women.
And then Jacqueline says, I have heard about Americans.
Yes.
I walked
they
away
like-
dramatically, but I still heard that. That's what he says from somewhere behind
The curtain.
I will say to Simone, that is a shame though. Jules is probably the most fantastic dancer I've ever seen.
Simone looks skeptical at this, and she goes, well, I do know that black people have rhythm, I suppose.
But the Nazis do not like rhythm. Yes, so it will draw too much attention. I will pose as a driver.
And that is also a stereotype.
We don't know where James starts and Tango begins.
Yeah, I know.
And Jacqueline is trying to get her friend Simone to shut up because she's like, I have a chance. And she says, and she
That's
just,
not what it feels like just all around for everyone.
right? So she writes down something and she says, and she just slides a piece of paper over and it's got an address on it. And she says, and then there's also both sort of her name and Simone's name and where you can contact them as well. And she says, we'll want our invitations.
Of course. Girls, we would be nothing without you.
And Simone is a little disappointed. And Jacqueline says, now, we may not stay with you all evening.
We wouldn't hear of it. It's a lively party. In fact, we would hope that you find some nice officers to mingle with.
And Jacqueline has this sort of like shit-eating grin. Like she knows she is going to seduce some German officer. She knows it, right? Like she has that sense. And Simone is just a little glum about the whole thing. And she's like,
This
well,
is my good for you.
good for you. And she says, we will, I suppose, come by the club tomorrow?
That sounds fantastic. Come just before closing time and we'll sort the details then.
Well, earlier than that so we all can go to the party.
I suppose. Let's see, I'm thinking back.
What time is the party? Do we know?
You do not know.
Oh,
But it's probably not when your bar closes.
Look, there's a standard. I'm going to come right back out from the.
All right, here we go.
There's a standard time for party. All right.
Well, what would you suggest?
Well, the party's probably going to start around 7.
We
right?
don't want to
That's
get there when
It's a
dark.
standard party time.
We're not standard party people. We get there fashionably late.
Right. No, not uncomfortably early, like when people are setting up hors d'oeuvres and stuff. No, of course not. Then you got to help put up chairs and.
What do I look like?
These,
No.
these two French women are sitting there and they're like, what is even going on right now? I'm like,
I say we arrive around 9.
I say we get
How
together
about-
around 7, do a pregame where we drink a little bit of cheap wine before we
Ladies,
get into the. actual
Tomorrow
wine.
afternoon,
Okay, I hear what you're saying.
you
You know
do
what
me
I'm saying?
the favor of introducing me to Jeanette, and I'll walk our invitations back, and we'll make sure to rendezvous at a time tomorrow evening that is suitable for such social interaction.
all right, just get us in, but don't embarrass us.
Oh, we wouldn't.
Oh, I'm walking right back out.
And we will see. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
And they nod and get up and they walk out. And Jacqueline looks like this will like embarrassing foreigners, but it'll probably be okay. And someone is like, oh, at least if he's the driver. And they walk out.
Did she say what I think she said when she walked out?
And
to
two
it,
Are they out yet?
They're
No,
out.
she did not. She said nothing. Enjoy your coffee.
Well, I
So-
can't because I'm behind a curtain right
If
now.
you don't drink that coffee, I will.
And I'm not coming out unless they're gone.
Regina, I'm assuming you have a plan for those two.
Yes, leave them to their own devices. They were talking openly about a German officer party in the middle of the bar. They have less sense between the two of them than I have between my middle toe.
certainly we can, I don't know, help their life goals of.
Sure, feed them an aphrodisiac before we leave.
Yeah, that would be fun. I would enjoy that. Or maybe a laxative. I think that would be more fun.
There we go. That's actually a lot easier than one suspects, but I'm just saying.
I think it would be great.
I don't
So-
like them. They're very mean. I would not take them to a party if this were a weird resistance thing we're doing here.
We're not taking them to a party. We're unleashing them on a party, my good
I'm
sir.
just telling you how I like to party, and this is not it.
Well, hopefully you don't like to party with Nazis either, but
No.
we are.
It's a Nazi party.
Oh.
It's going to be filled with fine food.
Oh, there's going to be all kinds of rules.
Yes.
All we have to do is go and stand. We're not actually taking the art from the party.
Oh.
We're taking the art after. We need to know what's in there, how large. It's a scouting mission. When it's all done, they're going to have to move it. They won't leave it there. Plus, their egos won't allow them not to move it. Then we take it. Plus, don't you have a mission in the morning?
Yes, I'm going to the chateau. I'm going to make some deliveries there. I'll be able to get some information.
How,
You think-
how early do you have to be over?
I don't know. I think, what time did they say again?
9.
9 o'clock, 9 sharp.
Hmm,
It's Germans.
Mhm.
gross.
So, maybe,
I simply don't exist before 11.
yeah, barbarians.
This
Do
whole
you think I
state-
can come with you on this little mission, or do they have very specific people they're expecting?
Oh, I think they would be very happy to see someone like you. Yes. Happy,
Wait, are you being sarcastic? Because a lot of people can be very happy to see me.
but you cannot wear the banana shirt.
I will not be going then.
No, no. I can.
You're telling
I
me
I have a shirt for you.
it's
Okay.
just a proper suit.
Very nice.
I can wear this underneath.
And
It's like a lucky shirt at this point.
If it makes you sleep at night,
He
Well, I'm
could
not wearing it in my
Yeah,
sleep.
each color.
I
But
would be surprised.
I sleep in the nude. So there's that.
Why?
too much information.
Oh, what?
Clearly, nobody's ever attacked you while you were sleeping.
No, not
Well,
once.
they wouldn't, would they? They'd see him and then they run away.
Hilarious. You're hilarious.
You've given Regina
Are
information
you-
that she's cataloging as you talk.
Are you sure you're not a comedian, not just a singer?
I do a lot of things.
That's what I hear. This is
What
what
do
I
I
hear.
do with the
Who
people?
you've been
below?
talking to.
Oh, I didn't have to talk to Minnie. They just right outside the door. They just start talking about you.
Well, you could have talked to many if you wanted to. I'm not shy.
And Jules asked the
What was
question,
that,
what
Jules?
do we do with the people down below?
Yes, below the people below. What should they must eat?
Oh, you're right.
Must, care for them somehow.
Hmm.
Oh, we should move the American. We can't have them all here.
Well, I think the family is better to stay here. They're very quiet. They understand how to hide.
I agree. We can
Can we
Keep
put
the
Hick in a box?
American at my place.
Oh. All right.
This
I don't
also
want to
brings
talk
up
about it
Good luck.
again.
this
No,
also brings up the other problem, and that is that Tango stayed in the bar last night. He also
Oh.
does not have a place to stay.
No, I stay at the bar, underneath the bar. I have a little.
What?
Yeah. No, I put a little pad and some. There's some blankets underneath the bar. It's where I feel most at
For
home.
God's
anyways.
sake, you can stay with me. Ugh.
Is that above the bar, or do you have a place
I don't
around the
stay
bar?
at the bar. I'm not a heathen.
No, I just
Well, actually,
There's an
why,
upstairs. I didn't know
why
there was an
doesn't the
upstairs.
American stay with you? We need to
No,
relieve him
that's
of this
not
thing he calls love.
No.
I'm sorry. I believe our talented friend here already called Tango. So sorry.
Besides, I need my two my two resistant agents not to kill each other.
Hmm.
Do you really think the American will serve me better?
I don't need him to live.
I'm right here.
No, not you. The American.
Oh. Well,
Not everything is about you, Tango.
I mean, you're an American too, but I'm not talking about.
Other American.
for a brief moment, I just thought things were getting weird. Okay.
Anyway, my neighbor, the only one who ever sees people coming and going, never asks questions, so.
Fine. I will escort the American sans feathers to my apartment.
You are a true gem.
I will see you all in the morning. I take the
Should I-
I all but lick the bottom of my coffee cup as I slam it down. You all can clear the table. I leave my apron and I walk downstairs to grab the American and go home.
I
Do you-
run to the top of the
Sorry.
stairs to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, Jules will bring some food to the refugees.
And when you walk down there, Regina, you see a family huddled in the basement, frightened, tired, exhausted. And they look to see who you are. You're not anyone they recognize. They are just a little tense.
Yeah, I look at them like this is yesterday's news, and I push into this hidden closet and remove said bowed American.
When you go into this sort of like back room behind the wardrobe, you see Mustang. You've seen him before. Sylvie has
I
not yet seen
refuse to
him.
call him that.
He calls himself that. I mean, isn't that how nicknames work? You call yourself it, and then people know. So he's in this small back room. It's not particularly large, and he's sitting there, and he's
Still dressed like a. All right, sorry, go. go for
I
it.
start unwrapping him like a horrid Christmas present.
But you see, when you walk in, he's sitting in a chair.
Oh God.
And he's got the feather boa. He's got them all on. And these are actually kind of expensive, right?
Yes.
And he is leaning back on the chair on the back two legs, right? Because he's got his foot on the table and he's doing that thing where he's trying to balance.
Uh-huh.
And like, he's very precarious. And when you walk in, he falls over. He like tips over and gets back up. And he,
I'm gonna pick him up. I'm gonna like pick him up. I'm gonna kind of push him against the back wall, remove said feathers, and I'm gonna say, "You're coming with me. You've lost your right to stay at the bar because you cannot keep quiet. Instead, we're going to give these refugees your hidey hole. And instead, I'm gonna watch you sleep all night long.
Hmm.
Don't speak. I'm going to put a jacket on and we're going to very quietly walk down because we are past curfew. Do you know what a curfew is? You can nod. Great.
can I speak now?
Only if you have something intelligent to say.
Well, I just want to say thank you for letting me stay at your place.
Okay. You have manners-ish. Move. We're on a tight schedule.
I liked watching the wheels turn.
And he just looks around the place, looks at the feather boa, and then he leaves with you. Feather boa left behind.
Oh,
Did they have to go through the
they
back
do.
upstairs?
They do.
Because that's where Tango is going to be sitting with his feet propped up on a table, leaning back on a chair. Hey, Shadow.
And then he sees you there and he's like, boo, to see if you tip over.
Like shadows don't talk. Remember that, Shadow? Get out of here. You're her problem now.
I all but growl at you. He's our problem.
I think she
Of
is.
You
course, it's a
moved
team
him
effort.
into this country.
Me? I
And
did not move him in. I helped. I was kind of a problem. Okay, you know what? You're right. If I had a place, he'd be at my place. Okay,
I don't
but I don't
speak
have
French.
a place here.
I wouldn't trust both of you together.
He sees Sylvie. It's like, oh, and he goes to like tip his hat to you, but he has no hat on. Ma'am?
I will saunter over to him. Because we made a bet on this, didn't we?
You did make a bet on this.
We're trying to all seduce him, really, at this point.
I saunter over to him. And I'm going to be like, have I met him yet? I just
Nope.
know that he's there. I haven't actually seen him yet.
Not actually seen him because he's been locked in a closet. Just, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'll get really close, really uncomfortably close. I'll be like, oh, hello, handsome. What do they call you?
Oh, they
Shadow. They call him the Shadow.
no, that's a radio serial. They call me Mustang.
Cool nickname though, the Shadow. I like that.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I'm going to come up around him at that point and be like, it's a super cool nickname. You know, ladies really love a guy named the Shadow. It's mysterious.
It is very mysterious. You seem like a very mysterious guy.
Oh,
I'm going to act like I accidentally just kind of push his back a little bit so he falls into her a little bit. Just, oh, hey, look at that. Sorry, I'm a little clumsy. I'm a clumsy tango.
oh, he tumbles into you a little bit. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. So,
I'm gonna lean over and like right into his ear and be like, well, I look forward to seeing you again.
he's beat red. Like he is beat red, and like he doesn't know what to do with his hands or how to stand anymore. He's so
I'm gonna whisper in his ear at this exact moment, like, say something clever. Come on, you got this, Shadow. She's primed for something clever.
It's
And
there's
then I'm gonna say, don't say anything. I'll just like put my hand on his mouth. These aren't times for words. And I'll just kiss him.
You are both sandwiching this poor kid, and
I'm just like, no, that's working.
I need a roll from you, my friend. That's what I need. Sylvie, I need a roll from you. I feel like you are trying to create an aspect on this fellow.
Now, would that be
smitten
rapport?
by
Yes, it would be
smitten
rapport. Oh, indeed.
We'll go with rapport. That would be a +2.
Let's see whether or not his love for the little mouse will hold true. It does not.
I got a -2. Apparently he doesn't even remember Mouse. Mouse is gone from him now.
I have a question for you, Tango.
Go on.
How good are your reflexes?
Well, if you're asking me, like, as in, do I have a skill of reflex?
No, like how good do you think your character is in terms of their reflexes?
Physical?
Yeah.
Emotional? No, physical reflexes, he's not. I mean, he's not a strong dude. So if you had to pick one or the other, I would say he's more reflexive than he is ever strong at any given point.
So
but he's not necessarily a guy who works out a whole lot or any of that. You can usually talk his way out of most things.
So if, for example, Shadow, his knees buckle because he kind of can't handle just what happened and he's about to sort of collapse a little bit, would you be able to save him?
Well, maybe I should. I don't know if we want to make this more interesting. I won't. I'm just going to sip my coffee in the movie moment of this. I'm just going to sip my coffee. And this is when I'm just going to make a loud slurping noise. Oh, I wish I had some. Yeah, I want to make the loud slurping noise, but I'm not going to. And you're just going to hear. You're just going to look down at him and you'll be like, oh, now Shadow. Oh, Shadow, buddy, are you okay down there?
Because what
I tried to help you, but you just
slipped right through.
Slipped right through my hands, my grasp.
And he gets up and he's like, there was a slip Oh, man.
No, I see it. It's right there. You slipped on
Oh,
something.
it's just so slippery.
And he's so beat red and he's sweating a little bit. And he,
Regina, quickly take him away. He's
Take him
clearly
away.
unwell. He must get
He's clearly slipped on her heart. Come
Yes.
on, Regina.
This young man needs some rest. He he needs to get some rest right now. The young man. Oh,
Quickly, before he grabs all of our hearts. Because
it's a heart snatcher. We have a
he's
heart
like,
snatcher among us.
he's a fucking bandit of our hearts.
Should
That's
we
what
call
he's
him?
doing right now.
I look right at him and I go,
Regina,
please,
quickly, don't look at him straight in the eyes.
please leave, or I'm going to hurt everyone. And she just looks at him and points to the door. She's like, this is the most ridiculous thing. Better question, did he buy it?
Oh, he doesn't kind of matter what any of them are saying at this point in time, at all.
I don't think he's hearing with his ears anymore.
No.
Because right now we're doing the worst acting job ever. We're
And
just
he is not even paying attention to any of that, because all that he can notice is that he just got kissed by like a gorgeous and like international sophisticated woman of mystery, and he kind of can't handle it. Like that just that was a lot. That was a lot for him.
He has to write about it in his diary.
Jules, hide your eyes. If he looks at you directly, you might fall in love.
Jules is not there. Jules is not there.
I start pushing him out the front door.
That's
and
what
I'm
I'm
like,
saying to Regina.
and I'm like, I turn to look at both of you because I'm opening the door,
Yep.
one to be quiet. And I look at him and I say, remember, don't say a word or I will gut you and leave you in the gutter.
Have fun.
Whiplash.
Yep. Good cop, bad cop, and I push him out the front door and you hear it slam.
Down in the basement, Jules has gone down to the basement where the refugees are. And when you sort of walk as all of this madness is happening, and as you walk down the stairs, the sort of slightly creaky stairs, and the smell of storage, they're sort of like they're in the corner. They look and they see that it's you, and they just sort of nod.
Yeah, so Jules probably has a bottle of wine, some baguette, and camembert, but an old camembert. It's very hard. So he will look at them. He will take out his knife, his Swiss Army knife, and hand them the food. And before handing them his knife, he will step up to them and begin to cut off these Jewish badges from each one and put them in his pocket.
And the matriarch, the grandmother, she hands the food to the two children first, and they eat it sort of hungrily. And it becomes sort of clear that they're probably going to just let the kids eat. And make sure that they can sort of eat their fill.
Okay. At this point, she will look at them and nod. He's going to see if he can find something more, maybe something from his own supply.
And I imagine you probably have some sausage, like a
hard,
like a hard sausage,
fried
something like
sausage.
that. Yeah.
And he'll take this out and toss it to them and say.
And they have some. There's a bit of a discussion in Polish, and then the grandmother says, "What do you want for this? You don't have to give us this."
It's okay. We're in this together.
And the grandmother just puts her hand on your hand, in that most grandmotherly way. She sort of pats your hand, and she says, "You're a good boy, grown man." And she just kind of pinches your cheek a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I'll smile at her and say, "Vous êtes chez vous ici. You are at home here." And I'll go back upstairs.
And then I'm gonna also go down there and help get them situated in the room.
The secret room. It's a little tight, but they could all fit in there. And
I'm gonna see if there's any thing to makeshift a comfortable-ish space. I'm sure there's some old curtains and things to kind of plush it up a little bit.
And I mean, normally when the things you have in this space are books and paintings and not people so much. But they're not even in there very long before the kids just fall asleep, right? And the parents are trying to find a way for them. And the grandmother, she looks at you and she says, we will be safe here, yes?
Yes. Yes, we will see to it.
And you will get us out?
Yes, I'll be honest, I'm not exactly sure how soon, but we will make sure you're as comfortable as we can see to it.
And as she's doing this, Jules will bring down the record player and put on some French music for them.
And they smile. And the grandmother, when you're both in the room, she says, and it's seeing Jules. Jules has a look about him. He looks like he can take care of himself in a fight. He has he makes the outfit seem more serious, if that makes any sense, right? Like, if you have somebody who can clearly take care of themselves in a fight, then you feel like this is probably a more serious
way of walking, discipline.
Yes, and it makes it seem like this is a resistance group, right? That this is something professional and serious. And the grandmother sort of turns to you both and she says, on our way, we spoke to other families, we spoke to other people, and I don't know any specific information, but there are a lot of whispers. There are whispers, and the community here in Paris is nervous. Everyone is a little bit afraid. Something is in the air.
Whispers of what? Something, what do you mean?
They had no room for us to stay. We didn't know, but it's just everyone feels like something bad is coming around the corner.
For the Jewish people, you mean? Yeah, Drew can believe this with the Department of Jewish Affairs and the French government and all that. Yeah. Shakes his head. Well, you're safe here.
Be careful.
Yes. Well, thank you for the information.
And they sort of, she still seems somewhat disturbed, but like, I imagine with the extra coats, right? Like you have a lot of, I imagine a lot of like blankets and sort of
furs,
right? Sort of all sort of set up, and they make a bit of a place to hunker down in.
The record that is playing is Jean Sablon, Depuis que je suis à Paris, since I am in Paris.
That's a good one.
Fine selection.
And I can imagine you've got the sort of lower end of the bar here, and up on the floor right above, right in the main floor, you've got Tango in that empty bar space. And out on the street, Regina and a little Twitter-pated flyer are walking home.
I walk arm in arm with him. I make sure he has a hat to cover his head. And I squeeze him so tight. He is not going anywhere.
Regina's babysitting.
Maybe, yeah, I got stuck. But everybody's drinking wine and flirting and helping people, and I'm stuck with the American.
Speaking of which,
Thanks, Resistance Mom.
Keep us all safe.
Regina needs love too. It's fine.
speaking of which, I think it's time for you to have a little bit of love. You know, it's midnight and you are walking home 2 hours past curfew.
Yeah. That can we stick to the alleyways and whatnots?
Do you want? Well, you're gonna have to be on the main street at some point.
Okay. I would have to know a way back that puts us on the least amount
Yes.
of Main Strip.
Give me your stealth.
Okay. I can do that. No, I can't because we got rid of it.
It's your plane. Good 40F.
What I love is behind the scenes, like Trooper had told
Roll the zero.
not behind the scenes.
Okay,
Don't worry
no,
about stealth.
I got it. I'm going to spend a fate point. Oh well, that's good. I don't feel so bad now. Was that his stealth?
Yeah, he's not particularly stealthy.
Okay, so I'm going to burn my fate point,
Uh-huh.
my personal one, because I said I'd take care of this situation.
Yep.
There it is, going away.
Mhm.
And
Tell me-
I'm going to invoke. I can't decide which aspect I like better. Plot first, friends later, or seize all the angles. I think it's going to be seize all the angles
All
because
right.
seize all the angles is like I would already know the
Yep.
path that's quickest without putting us on the main road, and I would maybe know a way or reason why we might be out after curfew. I do lean into him and whisper, "You can fake being drunk, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful. If we get stopped, you're not to say anything, but act extremely inebriated. Do you understand? Wonderful. Keep walking."
Right. And I'm going to just roll for my Nazis. And you are looking at, that's a,
Okay. It'll be okay.
I want you to imagine this. You know ways to get through these back alleys. Paris is an old city, and there are a lot of back alleys here and there. In some places, you may not actually want to walk through because it can be a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? Sometimes it's not the best beat certain alleys at certain times of night. People take advantage. But you also have a good sense of patrol routes.
Okay.
And in this moment, right, as you're walking down, like there are these certain moments you have to sort of hit back onto Main Street before you can move out. And it's this moment of just that timing, right, where you're pushing forward on a main street and there's an alley just like another few meters ahead of you. And you just need to get to that alley so you can take that right turn into it. And you know there's a patrol coming on that cross section.
Yeah.
And you just slide right in, right as this pair of Nazi soldiers turn right around the corner and miss you. And you sort of make your way right down through that alley. And as you do, you see, a person, a lump of a person sort of in that alley by some sort of trash can, sort of sleeping, not noticing you as you make your way through.
Good. I was going to say, they don't see us, do they? That was...
They do not see you. However, I would like to ask you a question.
Okay.
I can give you a lovely compel.
Okay.
Because I care. And that compel is not on your trouble, but on Hickok's trouble.
Shit. What is his trouble? Can't...
His trouble is loud American. That is his trouble. And I think that because he's a loud American and he does not know the area very well at all, that he is going to, it would make sense to me that in one of these moments where you need to be subtle and quiet, right? That, and also we know he's a little bit clumsy, that he's going to knock over a trash can, alerting one of the patrols. That would be my compel for you.
How far away are we from where I live?
You are close. You're close.
If we started running, would that be a bad idea?
Oh yeah, running from Nazis is never a good idea.
Great. We're gonna take it slow.
Would you like to accept that compel?
No, we have plenty of fate points. No. Screw your trash can, trooper.
I'm just asking you.
I don't. I don't. I just want to get him indoors.
She's saying, screw your trash compel.
Yeah,
Garbage compel.
screw your garbage compel. I reject it.
Hey, I was just asking. You know, you don't have to say yes. But spend one of those group fate points.
Okay. Hang on. Wrong screen. That's
London's been taking care of us, Trooper. I don't know if you know this, but
London has been taking care of you.
We are just piles. We have
Yeah.
I feel like a dragon right now, hoarding all these. fate
London
points.
loves that.
That's why I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad.
So there's that moment where you are able to just like maneuver right out of the way of the Nazis. They turn around a corner and you're like, okay, that's fine. And then and the thing is, as you're going and you've got this like grip on him, right?
Right.
And he's like, as you're moving and there's you're out like, you emerge out of this alley and there's a pair of soldiers that have their backs to you at the corner, not too far away from you. And you just have to be stealthy and quiet, right? And you can see him get nervous and decide to start acting like he's going to be drunk. And you can see it. You can see that something is going to come out of his mouth.
I kiss him to stop that from happening.
And he stops.
I yell the corner of my mouth. I say, stop talking.
We have got to stop having this. You know what? I take responsibility for this.
This is
This flyboy is going to get pretty horny.
And you just pull him across the street.
You're about to be part of a love triangle now.
Hey,
That's it.
well, like I said, he's not Regina's type.
Oh no! You don't. Not a triangle you care about.
Oh, great, perfect.
I think he'll be the only person in that triangle that actually cares about the triangle. Everyone else is not going to care about it. And as you're kissing him,
I care like somebody's watching a trashy reality show. Yeah.
And
Like
as
Love
you
is Blind is going on right here.
this is
and
so
I'm loving
amazing.
it.
And as you kiss him, these two Nazi guards, one of them just sort of looks over his shoulder and sees you both kissing and sort of chuckles at the lovebirds and then goes back to their patrol as you draw him off towards your apartment. What does it look like?
I think I probably live in a basement underneath another building, either an abandoned one or a closed, maybe a closed business or something that's not frequented. But I live in the basement to keep a low profile. So we go around back and down, probably your basic cellar door type situation. Click like an overhead light on. It's very dark in here because I use part of this as the room to develop my photography. So it has to be super dark. It smells like chemicals. And there's a bed, a single bed in the corner, a very small coat rack with her clothing hanging on it, all of her bends for photography, doing what she does. And all of her photos are hung up on clothespins and wherever she could kind of pin them to hang and dry. Then on the other end, the very far end, looks more like a proper conspiracy theorist. There's like maps of the area she's been marking and plotting. This is how she knows the ins and outs and has been tracking their whereabouts and stuff. And she comes in and like takes her jacket off and tosses it, and she's like, "Take the bed."
Well, no, ma'am, I couldn't do that.
I didn't. Okay, we're gonna try this again. I did not ask you. You'll be sleeping in the bed so that I can keep an eye on you.
But that wouldn't be right. I mean, you're a lady.
All of those statements are true, but it doesn't change the fact you'll be sleeping over there.
Well, all right, but okay. Did you make those photographs?
I don't want to talk about it. Speaking of, and she kind of goes over and moves the coat rack. She just moves straight past that and clears off like a wall space. And she's like, "We need to get your photo."
Oh, all right. Do I look okay? And he's got lipstick on him.
She's like, "There's a sink."
Is there like 2 shades of lipstick
Yes.
now from 2
Yes,
different
there
women
is.
kissing on him?
Yes.
Okay.
She goes, "Around the corner, there's a sink. Go wash up and try to look normal. Your hair, well, figure that out."
All right. And he goes and he washes himself up. And when he comes back out, you can see that he's pretty young. Like he's maybe 20. And he's like average built. A little like he's he kind of stands up there and he sort of combs his hair, but he doesn't have a lot of hair in the first place. But he tries to make it seem somehow acceptable. Makes him look even younger, right? Like that kind of sad sort of haircut when you've got it slicked down. You look
Like an emo.
yeah, and like he's trying to, do something with it, and he kind of just stands there in his outfit, which is clearly borrowed from someone else, and it doesn't fit completely well, and he just stands there in front of the wall.
By this time, I would have had. While I was cleaning up, I set everything up, put it on the tripod, and I try to frame it appropriately to look more like a passport photo or whatever we're trying to fake for him. Flash.
And you take the photo. We'll make a roll for that when it becomes relevant.
Fantastic. Great. I'm like, "We're done." I take 1.
And he's like, "Okay, thank you. By the way, thank you."
For what?
Well, for helping me. And
Just don't thank me. Thank London.
right. I mean, why do you do it?
Are you trying to bond with me?
Yes.
I do it because they're wrong.
Hell yeah. I'd drink to that, but I don't have anything to drink, so I won't, but
Yes. Skedaddle to bed. Just like a mother, I'm like, I got work to do. Move along.
And he seems like a little reluctant, and he's like, "All right." And he goes back to the bed and he takes off his shoes and he makes sure you're not looking at him as he sort of gets undressed.
I'm not even. I haven't even thought about it. I'm moving all the pans out and I'm starting to pull the chemicals. I glove up, right? And when I'm all done, I turn around like giant chemical gloves on, and I look at him and I go, "Now go to sleep." And I click one light and I turn on the red light, which just like spills across the area. And I turn around and I begin processing the photos from the day, from the Eiffel Tower down to his photograph.
I love this. Is almost like a horror movie right now.
And then she murders him. So then
It could be. It could be.
I mean, she's a chemist.
There's no reason why it
She was
couldn't
trained as a
be
chemist.
a horror movie.
Right, but it still looks like a horror movie.
So now I imagine we have Jules, and Jules makes his way home in the quiet of Paris the evening.
On his way, he'll certainly stop into an alley and make a little fire of these Jewish stars.
And you make this little fire probably in one of these sort of trash cans, and they burn. And it's it's really eerily quiet, and you can only hear echoes of boots, sort of jack boots, echoing across the cobblestones, off here and there.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And you think you can make it home without being seen. And when you get there, your mom, she calls out to you,
Mm-hmm.
Jules?
Oui, maman.
She says, you working at this club all late nights?
Mm. I have to keep working.
And she says, I got a new job, working, cleaning homes.
Huh? You're not working at the bakery anymore?
No.
Why not?
And she says, oh, you'll just get mad.
I'm already mad, maman. Tell me.
Some white French woman came in to take my job.
Oh.
Friends with Germans.
Mm-hmm.
But I can clean houses.
Yeah. It's only temporary, maman.
And she says, would you like some tea?
No. Go to sleep.
Mm.
You need to rest.
And she sort of wraps herself up in her comforter, and she goes back to sleep, leaving you there in this small garret apartment. And your mother loved that bakery.
Yeah, she worked there most of her life. So
Mm.
she was quite disturbed.
But customer service, you need the right customer service.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure he was kind of expecting something
Yeah.
like this at some point. Yes, he's heard about it from other people,
Mm-hmm.
but he shakes his head, and maybe at this point, because of the anger he is feeling, he will go to the bread box
Mm.
and remove from a hidden space inside the pistol of his father and begin to polish it.
Mm. And it's the quiet light, right? Paris being dark, as you polish this pistol. Which leaves us with one other couple for the evening, where Sylvie, you take Tango to your home.
The fun ones.
The fun ones.
The fun bunch.
Because I think we actually stayed over and probably had a few more drinks, and we really don't have to. We don't have to pretend to be drunk. We're just actually out there. Mhm. I think even though I do always prefer the banana shirt, I think I'm also going to be smart about this and put like a jacket over myself, that kind of thing, as we go to her place, whatever that is.
Will I have talked him in? I'll ask you this. Will I have talked you into wearing a boa with that?
Oh yeah, you could. It wouldn't take much.
All right, very good, very good.
So there's a feather boa around me at this point also?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
This is good. This is good. So
As you're walking home,
we're gonna get caught. There's no way.
Oh, we're the loudest things in this entire city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Between the two of us.
It'll
you're
be fine. That'll do this.
walking home at night, and there are always patrols out there. And
But we're so blatantly lucky.
Yeah.
you're loud. Maybe you're not making sounds, but you are loud people.
Well, she's being sassy. I'm telling jokes, and then she's telling jokes, and I become sassy. It's really a never-ending.
You know, it's kind of like one might think of it like a cyclone.
Right.
Cyclone.
A sass clone.
A sass clone. That's just
Well,
what
no, that's different. That's more science fiction. Yeah, no.
a sass-
Yeah, we're a sassy cycle. We'll figure it out. But yeah, that's what we're doing.
And as you are walking home, as is inevitable for people as loud as you, you're stopped by two Nazi guards
Oh.
who just turn to you both and they say, "Papers? Why are you out?"
Oh, right. Oh, sorry. Listen.
I shush him. I shush him.
Ugh.
You shush, 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 shush.
But listen,
I start-
just
I
got a
start-
little drunk, you see.
I start pulling out my papers, which I keep here cleverly in my cleavage.
Cleverly?
Did you put my papers with you?
Maybe. Let me look in there. There's some extra room. Maybe I kept them hidden in there too.
As you know, I'm
Gentlemen.
so drunk in French, you know?
Gentlemen.
That's who I am.
You look like you're in charge. What's your name? I hand mine first. You with the hand. What's your name?
Dick?
Dick. Ah, I knew a Dick in my youth. That's so funny.
What did he say? What was his name? What did he say his name was?
Shh, I don't remember. Tell me.
Okay.
He starts
Tell
looking
me.
at your papers and
You
also Tango's papers.
Sure. I would imagine
Uh-huh.
either I'd already trade crafted some
Mhm,
papers before I got in. Did you want me to roll for trade craft on that, or you want me to roll maybe I know you want me to roll
Trade
something. I know we
craft,
can
my
see
friend.
the glimmer.
Oh,
The glimmer
yes.
in your eyes. This is.
Ah.
Let's look at past Tango's
Yes.
work.
Yes, indeed. This is past Tango's work. This is some
what-
tradecraft.
Question. Would okay, well, I don't need to ask my questions. But what I
Okay.
was gonna say, would
Something
London
happened and I can't hear
want
anybody.
some
Hold on.
sort of, like
Okay. I can hear you.
verification or something.
Say again?
I said it seems like London would have sent him in with some sort of paper.
Yes, they did. Tango, can you hear us?
Now I can hear you.
What does your paperwork say? Who are you in this ID?
Yeah, who are you?
God, I'm just looking over here at like Jean-Claude,
Mm-hmm.
Really?
like Van Damme.
No. What?
Well, I'm looking over the French. I
Yeah.
just thought I thought of the top of my head. French. Do you had something better?
No, wait. Is that what? Is that what?
Yeah,
you're
that's good. But your last name, give me a last name.
Yeah.
Jean-Claude.
There's a last name. Oh crap! French culture. Hold on.
Dumoulin.
Dumoulin.
Moulin. Okay.
Dumoulin.
I am Jean-Claude Moulin.
Jean, your name is Jean Claude. Really? That's so.
You're right here next to
Sir,
me.
sir,
None of this
tell-
about me.
tell-
No.
good sir, soldier. Do I address you as sir? Are you a sir?
No.
Oh. Well, you know what? Sirs are not the ones who do the hard work. You are clearly someone who's doing the hard work. Tell me this. You look like someone who enjoys the finer things in life. Is this true?
Yes.
Oh. You also look like a man who knows how to party.
Madame Moreau, what is your address?
I give him my address, which
You don't need. You know your address,
I know.
Mr. Dumoulin. What is your address?
It is time to party. That's the address.
Good sir, are you going to ask?
Look at her address. It is the
Don't-
party.
He's going
Going with her.
I'm gonna need some deception.
But I really am going with her.
He's actually going with me though.
Yeah, but
No, I
you.
could do it though.
Yeah. And is yeah. Oh.
Oh,
my
that's
lord.
good.
He does not even. He
I'm
apparently.
going to, yeah. So with that roll, how about
you and
this?
I are like married and like.
Yeah. I'm
All
going
you
to,
needed was the point.
this
I
was
bought
like-
it.
Look,
And
I'm going to.
His
I'm gonna go
accent
in
is
like-
much better than you think it is.
Oh, yeah,
Actually,
yeah. I'm gonna go. Hold on. Let me see if I can summon the French accent. I really can't, but like,
Oh man, for
uh-huh.
anyone who may not see, A 7 was just rolled?
Yes, a 7 was just
That's
rolled.
2 rolls I've done that are apparently very good in this game. So I'm gonna just walk up and it's like, excuse me, but you know, me and my woman are together. You know what I mean? We're in the same. We live in the same place. You're not married yet, but you can tell that the arrangements were supposed to be done, but hopefully now it can be a German wedding, huh?
He looks at
These
you.
are difficult times.
He looks at your ID and he says, Monsieur.
Yes, obviously I'm very French, so yeah.
And he looks at how the addresses are not the same address.
Yes.
He looks at your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Are you wearing a wedding ring?
No, because I'm like, look, I'm gonna look and it's like, reach in. It's like, I had to, very sad. Lost the wedding ring because I wanted to give a gift to our friends at arms here. You know what I mean? And it's gonna pat him on the shoulder.
He
But
nods.
I'll get it back. You know, when you take over, right?
And he smiles with this sort of smile. And he sort of pats you and he goes, I understand. It's good to know that we have friends out here at night.
Of course. And we are very sorry, by the way, for staying out past curfew. We're just celebrating love and the fact that you are here to bring order to the whole thing. Oh,
And,
my
like,
accent is breaking down.
They are taking all of your flattery.
Oh, and he can flatter,
Yeah.
apparently, with a 7.
And
Yeah.
and they sort of smile and they say, well. And then Derek sort of leans over and he sort of gets in close to you. And he says, you are walking home, looking at the addresses on the passes, and he hands them back to you.
Yes.
You may want to avoid,
Oh.
and he gives you a couple streets to avoid.
Oh, hold on, hold on. Is there any way we can get an escort? Because we are very intoxicated.
I don't know if you could tell.
He does a tee-hee-hee too.
Come on.
Oh, piggyback ride, huh?
And with that 7, as
I do a piggyback ride with a 7. Is that okay?
No. But
are we friends now?
as they're escorting you back towards this way, he says to you both, since we are friends, you should be careful of the next couple of days. You may want to avoid Marais.
Oh. Why should we be so careful?
And he
I
sort
know
of,
you have your secrets, and I do not want to put you at risk.
and he looks over at Sylvie and he says, things may be a little bit difficult for people in the next coming days. Wednesday, perhaps stay home? I presume you're in honeymoon time anyway, so on Wednesday, don't go out.
Well, thank you so much.
And they take you to your home. They take you to Sylvie's apartment, and they make sure, and as you're walking, every once in a while there'll be like a patrol, and they just sort of nod to them, and they are able to sort of maneuver you and make sure that you don't get stopped again, and people don't bother you. But there seems to be they are concerned, and Sylvie, you know that the neighborhood that they mentioned that you should stay away from is the Jewish quarter at this point.
She's also remembering what the family was saying about people being nervous.
Yeah. And you
Thank
notice,
you so much for all the for doing this for me and my beautiful wife. As you can tell, we are very happy, and we are going to escape away for a few days, and as you said, lay low, perhaps away from. I'm just going to look around like them, right?
Good. You should watch out. And he's just sort of he notices like you've got this like American sort of Asian woman with you, and he's like, like you seem like a good fascist, so he'll take it. And
Okay.
he drops you off there, and he sort of gives you a wink as you go off into the apartment.
As soon as they're out of earshot,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, Dick. I think he said his name was Dick.
Dick. I knew it. I didn't want to say it, but
I think that's what he said.
I just wanted to keep saying his name over and over if that was his name.
Yeah.
Just, hey,
I'm pretty sure.
because like you've met some dicks, I've met some dicks, we've all met some dicks in our life, and really, and he's a German dick. So
name that's Dirk.
That's right.
Dick,
Close.
Dirk,
Yes.
Dirk.
what does Sylvie's apartment look like?
It is, I would like to say, fashionably gaudy.
Just covered in drapery of everything.
Oh yeah,
right?
there's
Just drapes everywhere.
There's
Art
like
Nouveau.
furs about. There's like those, in Beauty and the Beast, little step stool that turns into a dog, like that thing, but it's not, and it's not alive. It's actually a step.
I'm actually imagining Beauty and the Beast where things are turning alive now. This is
It might
great.
be kind of like that too, but there's
Yeah.
like candelabras, there's like books and stuff too, and like there might be some musical instruments. No, there's definitely musical instruments, including ones that she doesn't play. And there's just a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff. It's filled with stuff.
My God, Sylvie, I believe I'm in heaven.
Right?
You decorate very well.
I'm
I
you think so.
jackpot. I'm so glad to not go to Regina's home because that would have it's probably just all like photographs and
Murder basement.
boring stuff. And
You don't know
probably,
I'm a photographer.
I don't.
Sniper rifle.
I try to think of what I know about you. I just know she's a librarian. It's just got like books and board games. I
Well,
don't know.
you might know that she's a librarian because you have past history.
Yeah,
You
we
would know
have
I
a-
like books and stories. Yeah. I
Yeah.
tried to have secret story code
Yeah.
with you, but
I imagine that didn't turn out well.
No.
No.
Yeah, probably didn't work
Tango,
out.
I have something to show you.
Oh, please. Do you have any more wine, by the way?
Do I? Well, I don't know.
As she
But you'll have
asked.
something to drink, that's for sure.
Okay, good.
So she'll have probably not wine, but like there's a stock of like leftovers of like, calling it vodka might be gracious.
Something that has some alcohol content to it.
Yeah, there's that. But
It might be clear, it might be dirty water. It's probably a little bit of both. It's fine.
so she goes to show you the statue. She has this little statuette, little like cast iron statue, very, very gorgeous.
Is it like a Grecian naked lady?
It's Grecian, but it's a man.
Nice.
And just gorgeously sculpted, but then right in the crotch, just a little banana.
Wow. This is gorgeous.
Isn't
This
it?
is art. Where did you get this?
I found this when I was perusing in the antique district, and the man got rid of it at practically a steal. I couldn't believe it.
I feel so
Who
bad
would
for
get
Regina
rid of
right now.
this? Yeah.
I don't know, but I knew that I had to have it.
I can't blame you at all. As I just start unbuttoning my jacket and there's still the banana shirt underneath. I know there's a lot of terrible, awful things going on. And I think we might have gotten off on the wrong foot, Sylvia, but
Well, I mean, it
But-
has been a long time since there's been any bit of home.
Well, I tell you what, tonight we're going to play house. And this is home for you and me.
That sounds delightful. She pours you a drink.
Beautiful. And I know you like to dance. Do you want to do one last dance before we head on? Do you have like a record player here? Obviously, like you probably have some kind of musical
Yeah, she
stuff.
got the one with the big.
Big Bill. Big Victrola.
Yes.
big
Troll
With
it,
the-
yeah.
I
Thing.
was going to say the big tunnel coming off. I was like, that is not
Yeah.
the tube
Cool.
that comes off of it.
So I'm going to I'm definitely going to pour her something, and then I'm going to put on some music, and then I'm going to ask for a hand.
Yeah.
It's like, madam. And by the way, I just want you to know, at this point, I'm not trying to do anything with you. This is just a dance, and I want you to feel as comfortable as possible. Would you like to dance?
I would love to.
Beautiful. Let's do this.
And I'm assuming that whatever music went on is also horrifically gaudily American.
Yes.
Because we're taking a moment to
Yeah.
to enjoy she still grew up American and such like that. So
Mhm.
never really a taste of that in
Taste.
So, and I will say, as we're dancing, I think as some time goes on, if there's a part where maybe there's like a little bit more of a slower time, like a slower dance, like, so tell me what you miss about America, if anything.
Well, I think corn dogs.
Oh, I was going to say hot dogs, honestly, but corn dogs right there is second.
Hot dogs are all fine and well, but corn dogs on a stick.
Right. It's so much more convenient. You're right. And what is like a corn dog is just the best part of a hot dog, really.
It is, and it's all combined into one thing.
Yeah.
You really can't do better than that. For some reason, the French haven't really embraced the magic of the corn dog.
Oh, the corn dog is magical. Ah.
What about you?
Right.
What's been the, I guess, most surprising part about being here among us and our guests?
I'm gonna, if there's a window I can look out dramatically as I'm about to answer this, where he lets his guard down for a moment, but doesn't like look her in the eyes as he does it. Because not much. It's not much I miss about America other than, like you said, the corn dog. That's a great one. We'll go with a corn dog. Maybe baseball.
Baseball's not bad.
I like how everyone else gets really excited about it.
There is something nice about that.
Mm-hmm.
It is nice when everyone comes together. I think that's the thing I like most about.
Yeah, and they, you know what I haven't heard in a long time? I haven't heard the American song, just the, oh my God, what am I blanking on this? The national anthem, sorry, backwards. You know what I haven't heard? I haven't heard the national anthem in a while, sung by somebody who's not that great, but you're at just some park, someone's playing baseball, someone's giving you popcorn or peanuts, and it's all overpriced. I miss that.
I bet if we get Jeanette away from her boyfriend long enough, we get her to do it. You'll never hear a worse version than that.
I don't know. I think that she is the worst version, and you're right. But getting her away from him, that's going to take a little bit of skill.
True, but I don't know. As awful as she seems, I feel kind of sorry for her.
Because you don't think she really wants this. She's just trying to get a meal ticket. And as much as
other girls.
I feel sorry for all of them. They're just trying to make it. And
aren't we all?
Yeah, we all are. But they got it tough. They got it real tough. And I don't like it.
Well, the family in my basement has it tougher. I think that's what we need to try and remember.
That is. But you know what? Tonight is a good night. You know why? Everyone's alive. We're good tonight. And you and me, we're a family dancing.
I'm going to ask you a question about you both before we go to break. What do we know? What can we learn about Tango and Sylvie from the way that they dance?
They are totally going to have sex.
This is that movie, by the way.
Okay. wait, it's friends.
There's going to be a really bad line about, I said I don't wear any clothes to bed, and then she's like, I was counting on that. I don't know. There's going to be some weird.
Like, oh, well, should I run away? Or wait, no. Hang on.
I'm ready.
Well, it's been too long since I've had a taste of home.
Oh, yeah. Like, what I really miss? Some of that sweet, sexy apple pie. What? I don't even know where that makes sense anymore.
Nobody knows.
No, what I would much rather do, here's what I'd love to do. The movie moment is they're kind of dancing, and maybe there's that slow dance kind of going on at the very end when they're just kind of talking. And then they do the cheers, this is a family or whatever, and we're doing all that. And then they both kind of look at each other, like knowing, like,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's where it just fades, and we'll never know if they're actually having sex now. We'll never know.
Oh, I know Sylvie. They totally do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's a jazz singer. Come on.
There's no way he's staying at her house in the night. And my guess would be as soon as she mentioned it, it's like, yeah, no, we're probably gonna have sex.
Yeah.
It's like
Tingle is already preparing himself. He's like, all right, let's see.
Life is short.
Right.
But I imagine like if it were a series, it would be one of those things to where maybe you would know, or maybe the entire series would go and you'd never really know. And it's like, oh yeah, no, been hooking up like the entire time.
What I would like to think is that they're probably going to become, they're like bros hooking up.
Yeah.
And
bro punch.
that kind of high five, whatever. And then at the series is really about them. Are they actually going to fall in love, or are they just going to be like best friends who have sex occasionally?
Like, we don't know.
We don't know.
But we're going to go to break. We're going to break.
Rebellion times.
That's it. My friends, we are
That's
going to
rebellion
break.
sex.
So first off, it is time. We're going to take a 10-minute break so that everybody here can have a beverage, stretch their legs. And I want all of you all to have a beverage, stretch your legs, wash your hands for 20 seconds. The whole thing. You can sing Sweet Transvestite from Rocky Horror Picture Show. That'll take care of it for you. 20 seconds.
You can yell at the top of your lungs. Apparently that takes 20 seconds.
I don't know about your neighbors. So when we come back, we have this sort of lovely evening as everybody sort of goes to sleep. We will wake up in the morning, the evening of a party. And oh my goodness, I would like to say thank you for the cheer that we just got from Rissa. Thank you for that cheer. Thank you so much. So here's what's up. We're going to take a 10-minute break. I've got some more radio from May 1941 about the war for you to peruse. And also, we got some fan art from last time from Void Smoker, and we have that also in our slideshow, our break
so
slideshow.
good. I am actually, by the way, no joke. I
love that.
hope he's okay with this. I'm ordering it, and I'm actually getting it framed. Because I love it that much. And hopefully I get to meet each and every one of you in the cast one day in person. And I want everyone to sign it one day if I can. But
we'll see how the
I love
coronavirus
it
goes.
so much. It's so, yeah. By the way, if we have a country next year. But,
we'll
Right.
see. We'll see.
but we have it tonight. That's kind of,
We have it tonight.
Yeah. Life is imitating art right now.
And you got Canada
Art
too.
is imitating life.
And Canada as well. We got the North America. And it'll be a 10-minute break. And after break, they have got a party to crash. And we'll see how that goes. So everyone, we will see you in 10 minutes. And, we'll see you when you get back.
The story behind the headlines. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with the American Historical Association, again presents Caesar Searchinger, noted foreign correspondent and writer, in an informal analysis of the news. With the assistance of a research panel of eminent historians, Mr. Searchinger retraces the events of the past to help you in arriving at a fuller understanding of what is happening today. Copies of these talks are available to our radio audience at the cost of 10 cents. Send 10 cents in coin or stamps to the story behind the headlines, National Broadcasting Company, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York City. Mr. Searchinger's subject tonight is the riddle of the Straits. Mr. Searchinger.
Good evening. The most serious news in the papers this and last week, aside from the British evacuation from Greece and the Nazi breakthrough at Tobruk was the occupation of certain Greek islands by German troops. These islands include Samothrace and Lemnos, and they cover the western entrance to the Dardanelles. Two other islands, Lesbos and Chios, further south and still closer to the Turkish coast, are rumored to be occupied, or may be taken any day, unless the British fleet can prevent it. If it can't, the Germans will soon have a chain of Axis-controlled islands running all the way from the mouth of the Dardanelles to Italy's Dodecanese Islands on the southeastern Turkish coast. These islands can blockade all Turkish harbors except the remote and unimportant ones on the southern coast. Significant in this connection is the rumored passage of several merchant ships carrying German war materials from the Black Sea to the Aegean through the Turkish Straits, which could hardly have occurred without Turkish acquiescence. What these things portend is not difficult to guess, especially in view of the intense diplomatic pressure now being applied to the Turks. In any case, the conflict at the moment seems to be focusing on the historic waterway between the Mediterranean and the Black Sea, consisting of the narrow Dardanelles at one end, the even narrower Bosporus at the other, and the Sea of Marmara in between, all collectively known as the Turkish Straits. The importance of that narrow channel of water in the fate of nations goes back to prehistoric times. This is indicated even in the mythology of the ancient Greeks. For Jason and his Argonauts sailed through the Hellespont, the Greek name for the Dardanelles, in search of the Golden Fleece, probably an ancient symbol for wealth. Control of the Hellespont, or Dardanelles, was the real issue of the Trojan War for the citizens of ancient Troy and of the cities that occupied the site before Troy, levied heavy tolls on the ships trading through the straits, bringing grain from the north shore of the Black Sea, now called the Ukraine, and tapping the trade routes to the Orient through the harbors along the southern shore. After the Battle of Salamis, which, as I mentioned last week, established Greek sea power in the Aegean, Athens controlled the Black Sea route, both by her fleet and by colonies, or bases, as we should say today, until the Athenian Empire was destroyed in the Peloponnesian War. To the Roman Empire, the Black Sea route was less important than to the Greeks, only because Rome traded with the East through Syria and Egypt, and the African colonies supplied it with grain. But after Rome declined and the Mohammedans cut Christian Europe off from these routes, the straits recovered their old importance for the Western world. Meantime, Constantinople had been built at the Bosporus as the capital of the Eastern Empire, and the Greek emperors had established complete control over the Mediterranean Black Sea route. The question of the straits has been a difficult European problem ever since. From the 11th century onwards, it chiefly concerned the sovereign trading cities of Italy, like Venice and Genoa, who competed bitterly for the privilege of navigating the straits. There was no such thing as the open door in those days. The Venetians went so far as to conquer Constantinople in the Fourth Crusade, after which they exercised an overlordship over the Black Sea. Then the Genoese helped the Greeks recapture their capital, and for some time they enjoyed a monopoly of the Black Sea trade. But in 1452, the Ottoman Turks took Constantinople, and the control of the straits passed into Muslim hands. The Turks had already conquered all of Asia Minor, the Balkans, and Greece. By 1457, the Black Sea had become a Turkish lake. Thanks to the construction of heavy guns, which was a novelty in the 15th century, the Turks were able to close the straits to all other nations, and the conquest of Egypt also gave them a monopoly of the East Indian trade. The Turkish monopoly of the Black Sea was maintained until the 18th century, when the Russian Empire established itself on the northern shore. The advent of Russia among the Black Sea nations changed the problem of the straits. It was Peter the Great who realized that the future greatness of Russia depended on access to a warm water sea. But it was a woman who first forced the Sultan to give up his exclusive control of the Black Sea, namely Catherine II. Catherine actually sent a fleet from the Baltic all the way around Gibraltar to blockade the Dardanelles from the west. 4 years later, the straits were opened to the merchant ships of Russia, and soon to those of other countries as well, including England and France. The Turkish commercial monopoly was broken at last, and trade of all kinds has flowed between the Mediterranean and the ports of the Black Sea ever since, at least in times of peace. But besides being the great corridor of trade, the straits, as the link between two continents, have had great strategic importance both in ancient and modern times. Darius, the Persian king, crossed the Dardanelles in the 6th century BC to ravage European lands. His son Xerxes built his famous bridge of boats across them to march a mighty army into Greece. He chose a spot on the Narrows, just where the straits are only a mile wide, where Leander used to swim across to see his lady-love, Hero, and where the Turks erected their toll stations for less romantic purposes later on. The Turks, by the way, first crossed into Europe near the same place in 1354, though they didn't conquer Constantinople for another 99 years. Constantinople was built at the Bosporus, which in places is only 800 yards, to hold the European and Asiatic parts of the Greek Empire together. By means of this maritime fort, the Turks were able to keep all warships from passing through the straits. When the Russians became a Black Sea power under Peter the Great, the Turks at first denied them the right to have a fleet. In fact, they beat them in a naval battle and forced them to disarm. But a century later, when Napoleon invaded Egypt, which was a Turkish possession, the Sultan in his fright called on the Russian Tsar for help. Russian warships entered the Bosporus and for a time passed freely in and out. Thereafter, Turkey might have been at the mercy of Russia, except for England. Napoleon's Egyptian adventure, you see, had for the first time aroused England's interest in the Near East. From then on, throughout the 19th century, England and Russia were the chief competitors for the control of those who controlled the straits, namely the Turks. Russia's ambition was to partition European Turkey and capture Constantinople. England's interest, later on, centered on the lands near the Suez Canal. For a long time, however, she was busy restraining Russia and, incidentally, keeping the Russian fleet inside the Black Sea. In 1809, Turkey's right to exclude warships from the straits was reasserted with England's support. Thus England, rather than Russia, became co-guardian of the straits. Then, in 1833, Russia sent a squadron to Constantinople to protect the Sultan in his troubles with Muhammad Ali, the rebellious Khedive of Egypt. And as a result, the Tsar wangled a treaty which seemed to give him the inside track. But England and France protested, and eventually the 5 great powers of Europe jointly engaged themselves to keep all warships out of both sides of the straits. That was the famous Straits Convention of 1841, which remained in force until the World War. Meantime, it became clearer and clearer that the unwieldy old Turkish Empire was crumbling. Russia, anxious to speed the process, made war on the sick man of Europe in 1854 and again in 1877. Both times the sick man was saved by the Western powers, who were not ready for the kill. But France occupied Tunis and England occupied Egypt, former Turkish territories both. In 1911, Italy made war and seized Tripoli, Turkey's last African possession, and then the Balkan states combined and took nearly all of European Turkey. Finally, the World War made an end of the old Turkish Empire. What remained was the new Turkish national state, confined to Asia Minor and a small piece of European territory near the Straits. The one country, ironically enough, which did not profit from the breakup of the old Turkey was Russia, who for over a century had considered herself the sick man's principal heir. Russia's share of the World War spoils were to have included Constantinople and the Straits. But the Bolsheviks renounced these imperial ambitions and later even helped the nationalist Turks in resisting the Allies. Meantime, in November 1918,
and welcome back, everyone, to the second half of episode 3 of City of Light and Shadow, a fate-condensed French resistance campaign, and I'm happy to see you all back. I hope you all had a lovely beverage, stretched your legs, washed your hands, were good to yourselves. So that's lovely. So in the first half of the episode, our characters sort of wrapped up their evening and they all went home to rest. We got to see a little bit of their homes, actually, where they live, get to know them a little bit. They got to know each other a little bit. Regina did not get to know Mustang because she does not care. He tried. She was not interested at all.
He's making any kind of connection with him will only be a problem.
This is true. This is true. And I wanted to remember, you had a 3 on your tradecraft, right? For your ID. Is that correct?
I didn't roll it. You didn't ask me to. You said when it became relevant.
Yeah, no, for you, but for Tango, because he had to roll it.
Oh, I did a 7.
No, that was on your deceiving, yes. But your tradecraft, I think, was a 3? When they were looking at your...
That's what it looks like in the...
Yeah, I'm looking now.
Yes, it is.
3.
I'm just going to note that your ID is a 3.
Okay.
That's your... the goodness of your forgery.
Is that a good roll? I think it
feels like
a solid roll.
Yeah. So like with a 3, if somebody's really, really on top of things, they might be able to get through it. But like on an average pass, you're going to get through most things.
Well, we're at a fancy party where people are drinking and having fun. So. Yeah.
But at the moment, it's the morning. Yes. The morning of Tuesday, May the 13th, 1941. You all wake in your various spaces. And I believe that there is a job that needs to be done at 9 in the morning.
I want to sleep in so hard right now, but yeah.
I would have been up far before that.
Oh.
Actually, okay. Well,
I want to know what time do you all wake up?
Sun up. I need to beat the rest of the Nazis because I have a broadcast I want to get out. Question about my broadcasting to London. Is it always an open channel? Or do we usually just make a similar time?
What happens is you have times, right? So that you know to listen in, that they know to listen in to you and vice versa at specific times. And so you have to make sure you can find a place. Also, and you haven't done it yet, but one of the, because you were not around for it, but the BBC broadcast rate has a radio program that it's Radio London, right? They broadcast a radio show that is to France, actually to a whole bunch of places, and it's illegal to listen to it, but everybody listens to it, and they often pirate radio, and they have special messages that they send out. You didn't have any tonight; it has not been recorded yet, but these messages are things like. Grandma June has lost her eyebrows, and these are just like, these are the personal messages for today. Grandma June has lost her eyebrows.
Interesting.
The trip is not happening tomorrow night. And and the various resistance groups who are coordinating, they know what their message is. They're waiting to hear it. And if you get one, you'll be at one in this many group of messages that will be live.
Yeah. Okay. So my morning routine would be to click on the radio as soon as they are broadcasting and enjoy a cigarette in the comfort of my own fucking home. And I can finish waiting on my photography to dry. And I'm watching The American, so it doesn't go anywhere. I did not sleep.
But you have to actually go off to broadcast with your radio.
Right. Yeah. But if I don't have an appointment to do that, then
sure you do.
Do I?
Yeah.
Okay. I just need to let them know that the operation was compromised.
Because I feel like you might want to tell them some things. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to.
Okay. So we're doing this whole Hamlet Shakespeare
yes, you
thing.
Are.
Okay. I already made a note for this. I did this last week and I never got around to it. Okay, hang on. I'm pulling this up. This is what I do first thing. And that is it. I did. Okay, I simply send back.
Where do you? No. Where do you go to broadcast?
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Probably where I usually go. Like I'm gonna.
You have to go to a different place, yeah.
But it's a different roof.
Yes.
I did a different roof than this one, yeah. So I'll go pick a couple roofs down and do the same thing, like set the camera up, the whole rig, the faking it, and the click. I need a good subject. Last time I had a decent subject. What's in the area? Is there like is it a worthwhile shot there? Because that's also part of why she does this. She likes taking pictures.
You could have a nice morning shot of the city.
Perfect. I find a short roof. It doesn't have to be a lot. And I quickly respond from that location.
I need you to make your electronics roll.
Yeah, you do.
I do. As I make my Nazis coming to find you roll.
I don't like that roll. Okay. No! Okay.
All right. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
This is your first roll. So, you start broadcasting. You've got yourself set up. And this, by the way, is a contest. Them versus her.
Right.
By the way, I'll get to this after this moment. So you sort of set up, and as you start to sort of tap out your signal.
Yeah.
Tapping. It is... Krellin says you might want to do a fate reroll. That's up to you.
That's what I'm thinking.
Would you
I'm gonna
to?
need to do a reroll on that.
How are you going to justify that with my fate point, my friend? With a fate point.
Okay, I'm gonna justify that by the fact that I do this all the time. I'm a professional, and if I need to back that up any more than that, I'm sure I got something on this sheet that'll.
Probably your burned German informant.
Yeah, we're plot first, friends later.
All right, spend that one of those fate points and re-roll.
Okay, sorry, group.
Because they're getting closer to you.
Great. I have a very short message.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to get the message out anyways. It needs to go out, and then I'm going to have to run for it. There's nothing I can do.
So, let me tell you about the first 10 minutes of your broadcasting.
Okay. Oh, I'm broadcasting for 10 minutes?
Oh, you're going to broadcast for a long time. It takes a while. It takes a while to put all this out there. And as you start off for your first 10 minutes, like each one of these rolls represents 10 minutes of time.
Great.
So your first roll, it's bad. The weather's not the best, and you have bad reception. So it's really hard to hear the messages coming back and forth. And so you have to keep retyping the message, all right, because they're not getting it, and so you have to retype it. And so there's a lot of interference. And as you're trying to get this message out, and they have messages for you as well, and so it's taking a while. This is a long and slow process of having to sort of set everything up, getting things out. There's interference. You're having a hard time hearing things, and you're not getting all of the messages. Like you're not like. And the problem with interference is if you miss a couple of things, all of a sudden you don't know your dits and your das, and you start missing letters. And if you miss your letters, you have to do the whole thing again. So you're not getting the messages. Meanwhile, somewhere on the other side of town, a detector van is just
pings me.
Not necessarily. They're just driving around with their radar going, seeing if they can hear something, and they think they might hear something somewhere. They're far off, but they think they need to start trying to triangulate. Roll again.
Okay. Hey, I rolled a 4 that time.
So
there's that when I needed
it. If you spend a fate point, you can get a +2, and that will count as 2 successes rather than just 1.
But we need these for this party. And I already used my personal one.
Your detector van currently has 2 successes now.
And I only have 1 success, which is what you're saying.
At the moment, you have 1, yes, unless you spend that fate point to give you succeed with style.
see what you're saying. I see what you're putting down.
Mm-hmm. First to 3 wins this contest.
Okay, I'll spend another one. I don't want to get us caught. Okay. So that'll succeed with style now.
Which will count as 2 successes
Against theirs.
against theirs. So you start, you have to move your antenna. The antenna is not in a good space, so you have to move it, right? So you move it to a slightly different space, and you're able to start getting the messages. You start tapping away quickly. And as you are sort of tapping, and you hear, this is Ophelia, right? You can tell from the way she does her V's that is her. And you're tapping your message because you have a very important message, which is that there has been some kind of compromise in the Comet Line network. So you're trying to get this out. And if you don't get this message out, it could cost people's lives.
Right.
Meanwhile, on the ground, that detector van hears some tapping. One person in the van starts transcribing what they're hearing. They don't have the code, but they're going to transcribe it. Maybe they can break it, maybe they can't. And the other people in the van start triangulating. They start moving closer and closer to your location. They don't know where you are, but they're getting closer. They're at 2, you're at 2. Our third roll.
I got a 1.
Not enough.
No.
Yes! Yes!
You need a 2
To succeed?
to succeed.
Oh no.
I thought we won. No, I thought
But,
we were
but,
very
but
happy
they
about
don't
winning.
succeed either.
They do not succeed either. However,
You're going to spend a fate point on you.
I am going to spend a fate point
No.
because I have fate points. Would you like to spend a fate point?
Because you're a terrible person, Trooper.
I'm going to spend a fate point, and my fate point is because there are Nazis everywhere.
Spend a group fate point. It's fine. We have a lot.
Yeah, we keep saying that, but I'm feeling bad about it now. I didn't know it was going to be this big of a deal to send out a message. Last time we only had to roll once.
No, you rolled twice. Your first one you succeeded with style, which was 2 successes, and then your second roll you hit it.
On the last time?
Mm-hmm.
I thought we only rolled one time.
Twice. You got yours real fast. You were actually very, very. You got it all in there. It was great.
Okay, so
You getting caught now.
great. Just don't get caught. Okay, so I can use it to add 2. It's right.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, so that'll make it a 3.
Yes, it will.
So they can't beat it. Ha!
So, let's talk about this just for a moment. I feel like you might want to know. You are working, right, on trying to get this message through. And the message is complicated on both ends. You've got to sort of get yours out, get theirs back. You are pushing, right? You are trying to sort of get the message out, sending this this Morse code, and you know that it is dangerous. And you quickly finish up. It takes you about 30 minutes to sort of do this whole process. And not far, there's a detector van. And you see them, you are able to finish your message. The message goes out to London, and you've got a response that you need to decode, and you've got it in your book. And you start undoing your radio, sort of like packing it all up, when you hear 2 vans pull up outside of the building that you're on the roof of. And a group of Nazi soldiers come out of this van, and they open up the door to this building that you're on this roof of, and they start tromping up the stairs. And we're gonna leave you alone for a moment.
Oh,
actually.
great.
Yeah.
Did I get what I wanted to say out?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Do you want me to send you what I actually wanted to say?
Not yet.
Because I haven't. Okay.
Not yet.
All right.
Right now, it's a little bit of a surprise, but you were able to get the message out,
Okay.
and you were able to get a message back in return.
Oh, okay.
But it took you too long because of the weather, and it took you long enough that they have found the location where this message was coming from. And a squad of Nazi soldiers have descended upon your location early this morning. That said, across town, Jules, I think you need to pick up our tango.
Yes, Jules, after having a bowl of warm milk and bread and no sausage, we'll go to Sylvie's apartment, to her front door, and knock firmly. Tango!
Yes, I'm ready.
I feel like neither of you are ready, but go on.
I say that from the bed. I'm ready. I'm ready again.
Do I have to be up? Do I have to be awake for this?
No,
I'm still out then.
You're fine. You're fine. Hold on. Where are my clothes? Hold on. All right. No, I got this. I'm gonna do the thing where I'm like pulling up pants, doing that number. And
come on, Tango, we will be late.
Yeah, give me 1 freaking second, Jules. Okay, 1 second, if you don't mind. We won't be late. We'll be fine. And if we're a little late, it's okay.
It's Germans. Come on.
I get it. I like to retroactively, if I can get just a pinch of the coffee.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in, if she has the things to make that brew.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and put that there for her. Not say a word, but actually start brewing it.
Yeah.
For her. And then I'm going to wordlessly after that, I'm just going to leave.
Did you know, side note, that the most dangerous thing you could do as a resistance member was be a wireless radio operator, and they had a life expectancy of 6 weeks.
Oh, great. Well, I'm beating the statistics.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because they had to broadcast their messages, but there were always detector vans
everywhere.
So if you could last more than 6 weeks, you were phenomenal. So let's see how that goes. Tango opens up the door.
Yeah, open up the door. All right, Jules.
Finally.
Sorry, no, it's just... I would love it at this point. My shirt's on, like, not buttoned up great, but I'm just like, yes, ready.
What kind of shirt is this now?
It's probably one of her shirts.
No, I'm gonna hand. Jules said he would bring a shirt. He hands you a flannel shirt.
Okay, very good. Because I'm probably covered in feather boas and bullshit at this point now.
Yeah.
Okay,
I hope you
so
guys sleep.
okay, I'm going to change in the car. It's fine. That's okay with you.
Yeah, sure.
Because we don't have much time. Thank you for picking me up, by the way. You're a good man.
Come on.
I would have come to you, by the way. I just don't know anything about where you live, or yeah, that's fine. Yeah, gonna start mumbling about that stuff.
Yes. Come, quick. And
Yes.
are we going there by car, or because I was thinking we are going to walk there?
Oh, walk there. Okay,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I can't just change. So I was just like, hold on just a second. I'm going to shut the door. I'm going to start putting on this new clothes. I'm just going to put my tango clothes to the side, or maybe her clothes. It's probably a mix of the two. I'm just putting it off to the side. And I was like, all right, open the door back up.
He'll look
All
you
right.
over.
Do I look French enough for you, huh?
He unbuttons your shirt a bit.
All right. Yeah, no, I got it. I got the button right here.
Now you look better. Yes.
All right. I look French enough for you, huh?
Yeah, you don't look like Gary Cooper anymore.
No. No, I look like Jean-Claude.
Yes, like Jean Sablon.
That guy. I look like him, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And you say yes after everything, huh?
Really?
Huh, sometimes. And then yes. I got it. I got your language down packed, huh?
There we go. And now Jules feels confident.
Yeah.
If he only says oui and
That's it. That's all I got.
And you walk out to the sort of the outskirts of Paris, and there's this beautiful chateau. It is gorgeous. It is rich. It is well apportioned, and there's some heavy flatbed trucks out there, a number of trucks, and there are a lot of people, sort of men, sort of lingering about. And as you get there, I would like to ask, I feel like there could be a bit of a complication. Yeah, and I just want to know if you want to take the fate point, and that complication is that our Falke, Colonel Falke, our who you met at the club last night, who's going to be at the party tonight, is there early, checking out the place, and recognizes you all from the club the night before.
I don't know if I'm as worried about that, though.
Including
Jules,
your other identity, Jean-Claude.
Oh, never mind. I don't know about this. Jean-Claude. See, the thing is, I don't want to be as cavalier with these fate points as I once was, but I kind of do, because I think
How many do we have left, by the way?
Oh, I can't even count them. There's so many.
5?
No, there's
Six.
There's
Oh,
yeah,
7.
There's 7.
You have
There's
7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's 7 fate points. I believe we already have enough in our hands, actually, with Regina.
Mhm.
Regina. Regina.
Regina.
Regina.
Regina.
Regina. So maybe we can spin this, and we'll let her have her dramatic moment there.
Spin 1.
Yes.
All
Why
right.
not?
Spend it.
Yeah. I want to go with Jules here. If he feels like this is what we need to do, then we will do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
Jules will try to block Tango.
Hmm.
Try to block him a bit from the line of sight of the colonel.
Yeah, we're do that side hug thing where I'm just patting you on the back.
So it's spent.
I just spent it for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Did it at the same time.
So rather than me giving you one, so as you arrive at this chateau with a number of people, including Luc, a young French lad, about 16, a little burly.
Look, cigarette.
Oh, and he sort of comes over and he sees this other French guy, Jean-Claude, and he sort of and he pulls out this pack of cigarettes, and they're nice, fresh pack of cigarettes, and he hands you both a cigarette. He's like, oh.
Hello. Oh, I want a real cigarette now. Yes. Look. It is nice to meet you, Luc.
He's like, who are you?
My name is Jean-Claude.
And he looks over at Jules. Is he okay?
Yes. Yes. He's a friend. C'est un ami.
Okay. And you were all sort of herded into the person who is not the colonel at this point in time, who's sort of looking at your paperwork. He's checking, right, all of your paperwork. And with each one, he goes, Jules Césaire, driver.
Yeah, Jules kind of averts his gaze, hands in pocket, hunched shoulders.
All right. And he kind of looks at you one more time, this official. Sort of narrows his eyes at you just a little bit and makes a note on a clipboard. And he goes, okay. And he looks at you, at Jean-Claude. He's like,
Oh, yes, Jean-Claude. Of course, it is me.
Looks.
Yes.
Jules will elbow him.
Oh.
And he's like, okay.
Yeah, he's...
Apologize, I don't talk much. I am sick right now.
Césaire, you driving the flatbed? And he points to you, Jean-Claude, also Luc, and like 3 or 4 other guys. And he's like, and he gives you these instructions, like, you need to go to this place. There are things that you need to load up onto the truck. He's German, though. There things you need to load up onto the truck and bring back here.
Yes, of course. Oh, sorry. I am.
Oui. Oui, oui.
At this point, by the way, when I saw that new pack of cigarettes, I knew that cigarettes for my first day, you know, yesterday, they were at a very, yeah, they're at a high demand, right? But this guy has some nice, fancy,
and he's 16.
And he's 16. I'd like to use nose for a double cross, and I'd like to see if there's some kind of double cross going on here.
What would you like to
suspicious
roll?
Of the world.
What would you like to roll as your base? Would you like you could look at resources criminal. You could look at.
I have resource, maybe empathy.
You could do empathy as well. Yeah.
Let me do empathy.
It depends on like what your angle is on this kid. Oh,
did I roll it?
Yes, you did.
Did I?
Oh,
man, I've been rolling really well. This is gonna come back to haunt me.
We're gonna call this one. We're gonna call this what you're trying to do as a move. This is discover an aspect, right? So you're not trying to create one, but you're trying to figure out what kind of aspects are on this kid, and that is you succeed. Let me see. Okay. Let's see what kind of deception we get from him.
And in this moment, this is when this is that moment when Luke kind of walks forward and I kind of grab Jules a little bit and kind of just tug him to me. And I'm just looking at the kid and it's like, 16-year-old kid. Yeah. Nice pack of cigarettes in Nazi occupied Paris. This is like all going on in his head.
So you're figuring it out. You're looking at the, and the thing is, you notice when it's this, this has been established about you already. You have got a really good eye for detail, right? You're very perceptive, and you sort of like, you look him at head to toe, right? As he's sort of giving out these cigarettes, and you get this light from him, and it's this small little detail. You look at the pack of cigarettes, and the pack of cigarettes has got a mark on it because all these things have sort of like they got stamps, right? They've got like sort of a tax stamp sort of thing, so you can actually tell where these things have come from. And these cigarettes are stamped such that that these have come from German stores. So when I say store, I mean like a military store. I don't mean like a shop. I mean like
a storage.
Yes,
like an actual storehouse.
Yes, like a storehouse. From these, from the stamp on it, these have come from a store, sort of German military surplus stores. You can just sort of tell from the stamp on it. And then looking up and down him further, you're looking at the shoes he's wearing, the clothes, the cut of the clothes, what he's got. You're looking at, you notice small little details like his hands, right, his fingers. You can see that he's got little cuts, right, on his knuckles, as if he's been in fist fights. And you can sort of see a bit of an outline at the inside of his pocket where you're like, oh, I think he's got a sap on him, right? When you look at all these little details, you're like, this kid is, and you notice, like, you don't know because you've not been here very long, but you sort of catch right underneath his collar. You just catch a flash of a tattoo. And people do not get tattoos in 1941 unless they are criminals or perhaps in the Navy. And he is not in the Navy.
Okay.
And sort of this little assessment of you says to you that this kid is some sort of low-level criminal gang member. We're going to call him a low-level who is clearly into some stuff, right? Like he is... He is. I mean,
but I'm not necessarily associating with Nazis right now. I'm just saying he's in the gangs.
Yeah, right.
Because that was my first nose for double cross. Was really just
that tattoo does not read to you as. I mean, he could be a collaborator, but looking at his the rest
look
of
at everything about him, he just looks like a criminal.
Yeah, and you, by the way, have this is an aspect of Luke that is a pre-existing aspect, and you know it, and you have got you've got 2 free invokes on that. So if there's a moment where you could want to invoke his criminal gang member status for something, you don't have to pay a fate point for it. You get 2 on that.
All right, cool. I'm gonna lean in and tell Jules this and be like, your friend, he's into the criminal things, the underworlds. He's connected.
Yes.
So we could probably use that if we need to.
Mm-hmm.
And you know this type. I mean, you're a smuggler. You've dealt with this kind. Yeah. You feel like he's probably like a runner. Do you know what I mean? Like he's he's young.
Yeah. Would you say this makes me more at ease at this point? Like, okay, I know what you're talking.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's entirely possible that these people might be working with. That he might be working with the Nazis as a collaborator. But in your experience, these are low-level gang members.
Nazis only like to work with classy people. This is not a classy dude, so it's fine.
And you also imagine, how do you put this? Nazis like to work with slightly better criminals in the sense that like more organized crime, people that can get them more things.
Yeah, they don't like dive bar criminals.
They don't like dive bar criminals. He's like a low level kind of guy, the kind of people that you would I'll tell you what this guy probably knows. He probably knows some fences. He probably knows where to sell stolen goods. He probably steals goods and then passes them off in places. So you're like, okay, this guy probably has these kind of contacts. Nothing really, really great. Like you probably couldn't sell art through him, but he probably knows where you could get or sell jewelry, like crystal. You know what I mean? Like probably a little breaking and entering.
Yeah, he's your dive bar criminal.
Yeah,
I know the type.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I relate this to Jules, like as in it's more for me, I think, because I'm like, it's Jules Fred. He probably knew this from the get-go.
Yeah. Well, he has cigarettes. So
you trust your friend, huh?
A good connection for cigarettes.
I'm trying the accent as we're talking right now, so I can do it. You know what I mean?
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah. Good. Yes.
And this conversation is happening while you're driving out to this place where you need to pick up things. And when you get out there, and you've got like 5 or 6 guys in the back on the flatbed, you get out to this place. It's sort of slightly outside of Paris. People are sort of checking your papers as you get in and out. And when you get out there, you see a sight. You see like 8 palm trees. There are these palm trees. There's like this sort of, it's a staging area, right? And in the staging area, there are like 8 palm trees. And they want you all, and they're potted, right? And they want you to load up these palm trees into this flatbed. You've got palm trees. You have got crates, sort of, and these are heavy things, heavy crates. And you notice sort of like a kind of a large number of people from the Caribbean are part of this detail as well. Large crates, you have to, it's a lot of heavy work that you have to sort of load up all of this stuff.
This is a day of hell.
Yes, it is. And you have some time before you make it back to the chateau.
Okay. I thought they wanted me to drive.
They want you to drive and load.
Damn it.
Jules, I really thought, and I was just take him to a side. Like, I really thought we were just driving, and I thought like I thought we were just unloading a couple of little, you know what I mean, just little things off trucks and putting them back in. There's palm trees. There's palm trees.
This is good for you. It will give you exercise.
I don't need exercise.
You need exercise. Look at you.
You're right. I need some exercise. Yeah. You're a good friend. I really shouldn't have said that. I was just upset because I have to do some exercise.
It's okay. We are all upset. Let's
Okay.
go.
All right. Let's just do this. So,
Yes. Help me with this one.
oh, I can't. My arms don't work anymore.
And Luke helps, and Luke is strong. Like he's a young kid, but he is burly.
Uh-huh.
But these are still really large, and these are like 8-foot tall palm trees. You know what I mean? Like these are not.
Can we strap more palm trees to Luke on his back, everybody? Can we do that?
We'll let Luke do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And like
Merci, Luke.
all of you have to work on this. It is heavy.
Yeah.
It is backbreaking. It is tiring. It is rough. And when you make it back to the chateau, you have to bring all of these palm trees into the chateau, into the ballroom.
Oh, wow. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Knowing that I would be going into here,
Mhm.
and you can obviously, this is me negotiating.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do a trade craft to do any kind of I'm trying to think of 1940s tech. If there's any way to put a bug in.
You don't have a bug, but you have a miniature camera.
Oh, I would love to place a miniature camera if I can. I can roll a trade craft for you, or we can just say James does everything perfectly and it works out.
But you have to actually
However you want
take the photographs. You can have things like miniature radio, miniature camera. And the problem with radio is that it's kind of loud.
How about this? What if I can plant
Mhm.
a camera in there so I can get it later when I come in?
Mhm.
You try that.
And it will take, you can get it set up on a little timer to take maybe 3 or 4 photographs before it's done.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to do that. Okay.
Jules will try to get an idea of the security here, guard positions, try to memorize these things.
But how about what you see when you walk into the ballroom?
Yes.
How about that?
How about that?
Let's talk about that.
You walk
just
into
a
the
moment.
ballroom. First off, this home is beautiful. It is
Yeah.
gorgeous.
It's nothing like Jules' apartment.
Oh no.
No.
And when you walk into the ballroom, it is decked out to look like a plantation in the Caribbean.
Jules shakes his head.
And as you're setting up these palm trees, there's some people there that are directing you, and you've got these sort of paintings, not good ones, right? Of the most racist caricatures of like jazz artists and you're like, which colony is this from? It's a little unclear. Is this North Africa? Is this Caribbean? Again, it is not clear.
It's like a Holiday in the 1925. Yeah.
And
it's terrible.
There is clearly a theme, and this theme is like the wild, the jungle.
I think I will fit right in here. What do you think?
I'm thinking this is a job for a banana shirt.
And
I'm thinking.
they're setting up tables. You've got to it is a long day, and as you can think about security. But as you're there, I am going to invoke Jules, your trouble aspect.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and I will invoke my other aspect.
Oh, good. I'm going to tell you
I'll invoke an aspect because I feel left out.
because you are a mixed race.
Yeah.
One of the sort of organizers who's sort of yelling people back and forth is going to see you and is going to demand that you do work for him tonight at the party as a waiter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that if you say no, and here's where the compel is, it will be trouble for you. You can give me the fate point, and then you can say no without it being trouble for you.
No, I will say yes.
So, but I will note, you...
Jules is thinking he might get some, he might be able to overhear some very nice conversations, so...
You are... so this guy walks up to you, and he goes, you!
Look around. Look around and then look at him. Yes?
And he looks at your paperwork with your name and your home address where your mother lives.
Mhm.
He goes, "You'll be working the party tonight as a waiter. You'll fit in. We have a costume we want you to wear.
Costume.
You will report here at 6.
Yes, mein Herr.
Good." And he looks at Tango, who's too white for this, to be a waiter. And he looks around. He starts going around and he's picking up all of the people of color. And he's going to sort of...
My friend has a banana shirt. If might.
Don't tell him about that.
And he looks at you and he says, "Don't speak to me."
Don't.
Oh. Is there a compel for you, my dear? My dearest, my dearest.
No, I'm just wondering if I have a new thing I now have where I'm like, when
do you need
I
to
haven't
rewrite one of
told
your
my
aspects?
friends or my friends. Yeah, I think I need to trade out one of my aspects. As one of my troubled aspects.
I
is
think you
calming
might.
The world,
I've noticed it happening.
Yeah,
but
I feel
I
like
think that the more and more that
Yeah.
whenever I have friends now, like I just
Yeah.
I cannot help myself.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Oh.
I don't know.
By the way,
We'll shoot him a warning look.
Yeah, okay. Just shoot me a
JF,
warning look. Yeah.
you get a fate point because you took that compel, and what that means is that you are going to be at this party tonight in a humiliating situation. But more importantly, they know you are there officially as yourself and not under a fake persona. Yourself
So that'll be traceable.
that is traceable.
And
You-
they have my mom's address.
Yes, they do.
So that's the
So
part he doesn't like.
yeah,
Yeah.
you will be you will be there, but you will be there with your real name. So if bad things happen, you as the
They'll
help,
come looking for me. Yeah.
they're going to come looking for you.
Tango will have his fist clenched. But I do think this is a new thing for him, understanding friendships and understanding connections like this.
Mhm.
Because he's starting to get real sassy, almost
Oh,
Sylvie style.
speaking
Now
of sassy,
you know what it's like.
speaking of sassy Sylvie style,
Yeah, let's
Sylvie.
go to
Starting
her.
to stir.
By the way, I'm going to have you two gentlemen make some rolls to think about security and sort of ingress and egress for this place. But Sylvie, you have got a meeting with Jeanette, and you need to pick up Regina so that you can go and see if you can get yourselves into this party tonight.
Yes. So so wakes up and notices,
There's coffee.
wakes up to the delightful smell of coffee and is delighted by it. Ah, how nice. And drink some of this. And then so I guess the plan would have been to meet Regina at her home.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Probably, yeah.
that would be my guess. So she is going to get ready, which will,
No, I wouldn't compromise you that way. I would
Yeah.
come to you.
that seems fair.
I would not
Although
want
the
to put
sol-
any of you in danger of knowing like where I live. That way, if I was if you were captured,
Yeah,
you
that's
couldn't
right.
actually report that.
Yeah.
I would come to you. I'd come to the bar. It's a public place.
Mm-hmm.
But I would leave the American locked in from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Well, whenever you went to do the telegraphing, I was wondering if you had handcuffed him to a pipe or something.
Now, I think I just put a big deadbolt on the door or like slid a broom
Yeah.
through the handle. I know he can't figure
Yeah.
that out.
Oh, see, that's so generous. That's much more generous. So anyway,
I imagine you're at the club then, in the morning, waiting to meet her.
yeah. So make my way to the club.
I'm probably sitting there smoking. I
No,
think
you are
you're-
not.
Oh, I'm not?
You are not there.
Last we saw you, you were in peril.
So you.
Oh, yes.
Oh yes.
I
So,
forgot.
so you are waiting for her. You have a time when you're supposed to meet. She's not there.
How has the time arrived?
The time has arrived for her to be here, and she is not here.
Well,
Now she's 5 minutes late.
After probably, well, with anyone else, I would assume late time, because honestly, me being on time was a miracle of sorts. But I know that she would have been early, so her not being there 10 minutes before I got there is already strange. So I would say when she's 5 minutes late, I know that something's amiss.
She's still a good German, which means she's 5 minutes early, or else she's 5 minutes late, right? 5 minutes early is if you're on time, you're 5 minutes late.
Yep. If you're late. Yep.
So I know something is amiss. I'm not going to be able to. Do I know where she lives?
You do not know where she lives. Oh, well, that depends.
Well, no, I'm her employer. I have to know where she lives. Because I'm legitimately...
Yeah.
Papers. There would be papers, I guess, that you would have.
Yeah.
You could go look it up.
Yeah.
I imagine it's the basement of a closed butcher shop.
Yeah.
Is it anywhere near... I'm thinking aloud to myself. I know clearly something is amiss. I'm so hungover. Oh my God, she would be just beside herself if I didn't figure this whole thing with the tickets out. Fine. What I will do, I will go see Jeanette first, and then I will stop by Regina's place and make sure the American hasn't eaten her. Is what I will do.
You head over to Jeanette's, her address. And as you make your way there, you find yourself in a fairly squalid neighborhood.
So she doesn't live with her boyfriend, I take it.
She does not. It is not a great neighborhood. And as you get there, there are women on the street doing washing, with washing with a bucket, setting up things. There are a couple of people working, selling some little things on the street. And you get to an apartment block that is a little bit gross. And you make your way up to her apartment. And as you make your way there, you can hear someone yelling, right? There's like a woman, not her, yelling. You hear kids in there, and the whole apartment block is run down when you get before her front door.
Well, I would imagine it's not a vibe that's completely unfamiliar, Sylvie.
Oh no, I'm sure you know this vibe.
So she will knock on the door.
And there's some whenever somebody's knocking on a door, it's always a little bit nervous making. And
people live in this apartment?
It's a good question. And the door opens and there's a woman. And she is, you know how some people look really old, but they're probably not that old?
Yeah.
They look like they've worked really hard. It's a woman, an older woman, maybe in her 40s, but she looks in her 50s. And she's got sort of graying hair, wrinkles, and like a strand, like her hair's tied up and a strand of hair is like falling. And she's, the apartment is you can see like 3 little kids like running around in this apartment in the back. And she looks at you with suspicion. And she says, in like a French of the working class, and she says, very unlike Jeanette's accent, and she says, "Who are you? What do you want?"
Hi, darling woman. My name is Sylvie, and I'm here to see my dear friend Jeanette.
And she gives you this look that says she hates you. She doesn't know you. And you don't think it's because you're American or because you're mixed race. You don't know.
That's probably just her face.
You don't know why she hates you right now, but she calls out and she goes, "Jeanette, one of your friends is here." And she looks at you with your fancy clothes and your fanciness. And she just opens the door for you to come in.
Before I do, I will ask, may I?
And she just like sniffs and gestures that you can walk in.
Thank you.
And this place is cold. This apartment is freezing. They don't have good heating. When you walk in, it's small. The difference between bedroom and living room is not that much of a difference. There's like a place that's sort of walled off. And there are, when you look, there's like maybe like a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old. There's like a 4-year-old. They're like 3 kids, like one that's like 2 or 3, one that's like 4 or 5, one that's like 10, that are sort of running about. And there's like a young man, sort of like a teenage boy probably, who's looking disaffected and bored. And she's there and she's doing embroidery, like she's doing some kind of handcrafting. And then Jeanette sort of rushes out from behind this sort of curtain, and she's like, I'm so sorry, you know, and then she sees it's you and not one of her other friends. And she's like, oh, what are you doing here?
Why, Jeanette, I came to see you. It was so lovely seeing you at my restaurant the other night that I wanted to see how you were doing today.
And the mother goes, Jeanette, do you have a job now? And Jeanette smiles and says, Jeanette is embarrassed, right? This whole situation is making her desperately embarrassed.
And I respond to who I'm assuming is her mother,
Yeah.
aunt, some maternal figure. Why, yes, she's working for me.
At least you're not a tramp anymore. And Jeanette is just like terribly embarrassed. And she says, and she grabs like a nice coat. Like you can tell that she has got these nice clothes that are sort of separated from everything else. It's like the only nice stuff in this place. And she like pulls on her coat and she goes, Maman, we're going out. And she just kind of like hooks her arm around you and like walks you out. And she like grabs her purse and her nice hat and she walks you out of this place and down. And she's like, what are you doing here?
So, tell me about your family.
There's no need. What are you doing here?
You know, it reminds me a lot of my own family when I was growing up. There's no need to be embarrassed.
There's a small cafe around the corner.
Come, I'll buy you a tea.
All right. And like, you can tell that she always tries to look beautiful, right? That this is her one thing that she's got. And she takes you out to this little cafe around the corner, which is fine. And the people in the neighborhood don't always look at her very nicely, right? You can tell they've got a bit of an attitude about her. They don't seem to respect her. But she sort of holds her head up high with a little bit of arrogance, walking through this neighborhood that doesn't think well of her. And as you pass by, someone on the street sort of spits on the ground, and you can hear them say under their breath, "Collaborator." Not to you, but to her. And you hit this small little cafe, and she sort of gestures, and somebody comes in, and they're like, Mademoiselle, what will you have?
I will have a green tea and whatever the young lady would like.
And she says, what she's having. And she goes off. And they come back after a while with this tea. And once the tea is given, she looks at you and she says, what is this about a job?
Well, yes. It seems that you are looking for a job, I'm to understand. Are you not?
Yes, but I'm not being a waitress or a barmaid.
Well, you have to start somewhere.
I'm too good for that.
Listen, my dear, no one is too good for anything. Even I clean the tables, and I own the place.
It would be too embarrassing for me to do something like that. It's what my mother does all day.
Why would it be embarrassing?
I don't need a job if the job is to wait tables.
Well, there's nothing wrong with cleaning things. Things need to be clean.
That's for someone else to do. I could be a singer at your club, though.
Well, I would be interested perhaps in... I'm to understand there's some sort of event going on tonight?
Yes, a very fancy party. A very important one.
Important and fancy.
Yes.
Those are fantastic words when they're strung together, are they not?
Yes. And I get to go.
Well, this seems like a great place where I would love to see you perform again, and perhaps we could work something out where you come back by fairly regularly.
Helmut says I cannot perform at this party. I don't understand why not. It's a degenerate art party. I should be able to sing jazz there.
Well, I bet if I were to go there with you, we could get you to sing. I could bring my band and everything.
Probably, I don't think it will work.
Of course it will. A lot of the Germans love jazz music, despite the fact that they're saying that they don't. And what does an art party need more than a good live band? I bet they don't have one of those.
Well, jazz is very degenerate.
Perhaps the most degenerate thing there is.
And you would let me sing?
I wouldn't dream of anything else. We could both sing together. It would be beautiful. We would be like sisters, you and I.
Give me rapport.
And hiya! Wait, it didn't work. Hiya!
Didn't work. Oh, a 2. Uh-huh.
And you know what? I could use, what do I have, 2 personal ones?
You do? Mm-hmm.
And if I use one of those personal ones, it will give me 2 extra points?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps this is a moment where I would succeed with style.
It would be a moment that you would succeed with style, as a matter of fact. It's the difference between a tie and a succeed with style.
Well, I believe I shall succeed with style then. I don't know how to get rid of it. Hiya, it's gone.
Uh-huh.
Now I have a 4.
She frowns.
Think of how impressed Helmut would be. And all of his friends.
So, I would just have to get you and the band in? Somehow?
Yes.
And you would let me sing?
I would.
Also at the bar? And not be waitress?
I would let you sing, but you would also, once in a while, have to carry a drink. But I wouldn't make you clean a table at first. But it would be an actual job.
Well, I'll have to talk to some of my friends to see what I can do. But how many people?
6.
6. For the band?
For the band and the band manager and one of my servers.
Okay. I'll need something else.
What can I do for you?
I will need one of your dresses.
Well, I would love to. In fact, I can bring you one of my bows as well.
Okay. I will organize it so that you can come.
Fantastic.
Okay. And don't tell anyone about this.
My lips are sealed.
And she looks at you
And my trustworthy face.
in your trustworthy face. And she says, tell me honestly, how good of a singer am I?
I think you have a lot of promise.
Really?
I think that you have a lot of dreams, and I think that I have been singing a lot longer than you, darling, because I'm a lot older than you. However,
You are old.
however, I believe that if I take you under my wing, we could make something really fantastic happen.
Okay. Then I don't care what Helmut says. I will be singing there tonight, and I will make sure your band can come. Just arrive at the party at 6. I'll have to get there early. I can get you in.
That sounds perfect. And before you get there, I want you to practice a couple of things, okay?
Okay.
And I won't do it now, but Sylvie's going to give her a few vocal exercises to practice.
And the people at the cafe sort of see this, but they sort of feel like, I suppose, artistic people. And she notes them and she practices. She's not great because she has not had a lot of training or practice. Her voice is a little weak. She sometimes has a hard time holding pitch, but she takes your lessons.
In fact, you know what? Sylvie's going to sit there with her for a moment and give her
Yeah.
a quick voice lesson. I think is what's going to happen here.
Give me performance.
Oh, no.
Do you want to push it or not?
You know, it's a quick voice lesson.
All right.
It's a quick one.
We're gonna give you one. And so with that, you go back to, I assume, Regina's home.
I'm swooping back by there on the way, yes.
The door is locked from the outside.
I see this. Huh. So, gonna unlock it. Is it locked in?
It's like a deadbolt on cellar doors.
Well, I'm not unlocking that.
But you hear,
I'll just like bang on the door.
and you hear,
Regina?
hello?
You're not Regina.
No, can you get me
What
out?
did you do with her?
Nothing. She put me in here, and I'm waiting to get out.
She doesn't even say anything else. She just leaves.
Hello? Hello?
So she doesn't know where she would have gone at this point. So she goes to different spots.
There is
Is there a-
long hours of work, and while you are working, Tango and Jules, you are assessing the security of this place. Who's there? And as you are working, you can see them beginning to set up some brilliant art, degenerate art, of course. Set up. This is clearly meant to be some sort of colonial holiday, sort of showing off all of the bad and terrible things. And you're
So
seeing
exciting.
very exciting, very exciting.
Great for a party.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah, this is going to be a riot. This is going to be great.
they're bringing in nice food, right? Like it's coming in early, but you can start seeing
Oh man.
like
No.
And he hasn't even had a proper breakfast.
no.
He's like looking at this like he wants to. Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
going to give you some hours of heavy work where you're going to get hot and sweaty. And then you're going to be dismissed for the evening. And Sylvie, you've spent this day trying to sort of, work these things out, come back, and you are waiting at the club for Regina to arrive. And she's not there. Regina, my friend, I was wondering if you might do something for me as we come to the end of this episode.
Okay.
I would like...
Did me not die? Can we do it where she doesn't die? Is that the
Okay.
thing? Can I just formal request?
But I'm a good German.
We can see a squad of Nazi soldiers swarming out of these vans with weapons at the ready, tromping up the stairs. There are many flights to this building. Regina, you are on the rooftop with your camera being packed up, the radio in this sort of in a hidden compartment in this basket, your book with codes. You've got many things on you that if they were to be searched, they would be very incriminating, but they are not at you yet. And in this moment, as we go into sort of slow motion, I would like you to tell me what message you sent to Ophelia. And this voiceover happens as you see some German soldiers pounding on doors. Each apartment in this building is being ransacked. Each person in this building is being face to face with Nazis as they're fanning out through this building. Up and up. Tell me what you sent.
Okay. Before I have to pull a gun. I pull the gun out of my sock and just lay it on the ground under my skirt. And then I start tapping away, and it simply says, "Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners?"
Now that was the last message.
Mm-hmm.
What do you tell them? What important intel do you send London?
That the mission was compromised. That is all they need to know. And that. How do I do this though? In code.
It's all ciphered up. You've put it in
Yeah.
like 2 different sets of ciphers.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I would tell him that German intelligence was involved.
Mm-hmm.
High-end German intelligence, and that there's a gathering.
Mm-hmm. You tell them about the party, this high-end party?
Yeah, but I don't call it.
Yeah.
They're celebrating something that hasn't happened yet.
They're celebrating something that hasn't happened yet. Yes.
She can feel it in her bones.
Yeah. So you tell them that German intelligence, the Nazis, the occupiers, are celebrating something that hasn't happened yet. You tell them that the Comet line has been compromised as you're tapping away, and then you finish with "Get thee to a nunnery." And you pack up, and there's a gun on the ground as you can hear boots. And that is where we will call it for the evening.
Perfection.
So,
Wow.
audience, I have to tell you all something. Guess what's happening next week? Guess what's happening next week? Guess what? Guess what?
So many heart attacks.
We'll be here.
There's a solo session.
Oh.
I believe we have a solo session planned.
Oh, do we?
I believe we do. We have to make those logistics to figure out who that solo session's going to be. We'll have a talk about it once we go offline. Because I know that I don't think everyone can be here next week. Is that correct?
Well, times have changed,
Oh.
Trooper.
Oh, times have changed.
This is not the same
The
day it
world's
once
on
was.
lockdown,
Oh, that's
Trooper.
true. That's
Have
true.
me over next week, Trooper.
I was supposed to go on vacation.
Trooper.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
that's
supposed to
right.
go on vacation to
Ow.
Universal Studios, by the way. I
That's
don't know if that's happening.
Right. We have to go through our call sheet because
Yeah.
things may have changed.
Times they hard changing, my friend.
Oh, all right. So what's going to happen next week? We're a little bit surprised, but there's some.
There's just grocery stores and a racetrack open. That's all I see, man.
We have got ourselves set up for a really great celebratory colonial fantasy party tonight. We have got an invite for the band because if what you need at a degenerate art party is some degenerate music, which would be some jazz. And we have got our radio operator in trouble on the roof.
I wouldn't call it trouble. I'm not in trouble yet.
Not in trouble yet. Well, there's trouble right here in River City, is what I'm. And it, stands for pool. And
I get it, Trooper. I get it.
I would love for you all to introduce yourselves, to sort of wrap us all up, say who you are, where we can find you, and I want you to tell me I want a lovely thing. I want you've got a lot of really great aspects you put up there that you can use, perhaps. I'm very, very excited for that. I would like you to tell me one way that you're going to spend your time from now till next week. That's what I want to know. What do you be thinking about between now and next week? So let's start with our Stiver. Who are you? And please make sure you talk about North by Northwest and also Loot and Dagger, where we can find you, what do you do, and what will you be thinking about between now and next week?
Yeah, I have that ability. So my name is James Stiver. You can find me at Holy Stiver, all things internet. That's the Instagrams, this is Twitters, all those things. If you just Google Holy Stiver, my entire life is out there. I live in transparency, so there it is. Yeah, and I'm also I share this stage with Little Red Dot on North by Northwest. At times, not all the time, but certainly if you were to just skip ahead, you can listen to whatever you want to listen to. All of North by Northwest, that's great, but especially the parts where I'm in it and where where Little Red Dot is the DM. That's really where it gets good.
I'm part of this podcast. The rest of it doesn't matter.
The rest of it does not matter. Let's be honest. Let's be real. No, but I also DM and produce the Loot and Dagger podcast. I am also on the Stellar Arcanum podcast. So there's a few things I do. I never have a weekend. Relationships are terrible with me, so don't try one because I never have time. Outside of that, what am I going to be thinking about this entire week? I am really seriously going to wonder if they're going to reach her and what's going to happen because she has no support. You know, Regina. I never knew her name. I can never say it. So I think that's
May the guilt haunt you.
I think that, and I think if for the first time he has been forced to be around enough people, and this has only been a day, right? It's only been a day.
2 days, really.
Really 2 days.
Yeah.
But in the life of this
it's intense.
This American black marketeer, black market marketeer, I don't think he's ever really spent that amount of time around people and that and having to care. So I think I'm also thinking about that. Like, what does that mean to Takeo? I think that last bit where he made the coffee. Yeah. I think that was really a turning point because I think he never would have done that to anyone else. So, yeah.
Strings.
Double crits. JF, who
Yes.
are you? Where can we find you? What do you do? And what are you thinking about for this next week?
I'm a double critter, aka JF, aka Jules César on this show. I'm also on The Witcher on Wednesdays with Foxhole, playing a different character, Dusa of Gamera.
Someone a lot more violent.
Yes, one that's full of bloodlust. So that's another thing. This is great. I'm feeling incredibly spoiled by the GMs this week. I don't know if it's because they have more time, but my God, Cooper, congratulations, man! That was beautiful. One thing I want to point out is that the corn dogs have still not made it to France.
Oh no!
No, but they might in this reality because you
That's
said
true.
we could change things.
That's
So
right. You can change reality. This is
there's
true.
hope for that.
This is
But
true.
for-
Because
for-
we are historical in that moment, but you
Yeah.
all are actors with agency.
Oh, that's why we were
Man.
thinking back on it. What would you care
No.
about America at that time, right?
Maybe
I'm
able to
gonna have-
change history here.
Yeah.
You might change some history.
Oh,
And,
love it.
I love Stiver's character development.
Mm.
It's pretty. I love the way it's taking off. And what else? I loved how he pulled that line with "Tonight everyone is alive."
Yeah.
So I thought that was a great moment.
And that's our episode title.
It's amazing. Regina corralling the wingman and babysitting him. That was hilarious. There were so many great scenes today. It was incredible. So looking forward to next week. I'll be thinking about all these things, just so you know.
Tonight, everyone is alive. Mm.
Yeah,
I
that was.
noticed that strategic cutoff point there.
I love that.
Oh, Rockhead.
Was that a tonight, comma, everyone's alive? Sorry. Go
Yeah,
on.
who knows about next week? Hey, there are fate points on the table, and we are not there yet. We will see how it goes. Oh, Rocket.
So I am Rocket Fox. I can be found pretty much anywhere you look up Rocket Fox on all the medias and whatnot. And yes, I actually I've been getting back into my stream on Thursday afternoons. However, in addition, I'm wrapped up in myself. In addition, next week, Thursday evening, I'm doing a special, for the first time, live stream storytelling event on my channel, which I have hosted storytelling events live for the past several years in person. So this is the first time I'm going to be doing it in a digital format, just A, because of the times, but also B, to bring it to a wider format of people. So I'm really excited, and I hope everybody can join me who is around.
And I have put your Twitter handle up there, and also on Twitch, it's also Rocket Fox.
Yes. And it's going to be on my channel from... am I the only person in Central Time here? In Central, it's going to be from 7 to 9 p.m. In Eastern, it's going to be from 8 till 10 p.m. and 5 to 7 for the West Coasties. But the theme for this one is
100%. You passed that. Good job.
yes.
Yes.
But the theme is Witch Goddess Queen. So
Ooh.
it's going to be personal stories that are inspired by that. And also, I am looking for stories. So if anybody has one they want me to read,
Ooh.
send them my way. And I am going to try and have a setup to where people can jump on and actually tell it themselves too. So
And what day is that?
on Thursday,
What time is that?
in your time, it's going to be from 8 to 10.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Yes.
And then what is that channel again?
Rocket Fox.
What?
What?
And folks, Rocket is a professional storyteller, so you should all be there. Go be there.
I've been paid for it now. That makes me a professional. But yeah, so it's going to be real cool. I'm really excited. As far as tonight goes, I'm going to be thinking a lot about just the fear I have for my beloved Regina. And what's going on, and also the moment I loved when the air person was in her home, and she was like, "Are you trying to bond with me?" I thought that was amazing.
So not practical. Like, why?
I thought it was amazing.
He's like, well, if we're gonna be in the same room together for a while, and you're like, no.
Shut up. I have work to do. I'm working.
But no, everybody is amazing, and I will spend my time thinking about how much I miss everyone.
Oh, Dot. Oh, Dot. I saved you for last because I feel like you have things you're thinking about. Who are you? Where can we find you? And mention all of the things you're doing, and then what you're thinking about for the week.
Okay, that's a lot. I'm Dot. I'm a GM and a digital storyteller here on Twitch. When I'm not on Twitch, I am now producing the Dad's Garage Theater Twitch channel, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to be training a new team of people. So we're going to have a whole team over there that I'm going to be a part of, which I'm very excited about. So lots going on there. We actually had our first live archival rebroadcast tonight. So we pulled from the archive and like rebroadcast a show from the past. So we'll be bringing more of that. And if you just need some solid laughs during the week. Right now, my favorite show. Do you want me to tell you my favorite show?
Yeah.
My favorite
and
show.
Also, what is Dad's Garage's name?
Twitter. Dad's Garage ATL is their handle here on.
Can I cut you off? Because I go and tell you my favorite show, Dad's Garage, because I love Dad's Garage. It's going to be Wrath of Khan is my favorite show.
That's what we showed tonight.
No!
That's what we showed tonight was the original production from 2012.
Should have called out.
Yeah, it was the original production from 2012 that we rebroadcasted. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. we are doing Wrath of Khan 2 Into Darkness, which is the sequel to the original. So that was it. Anyways, it's a whole mess. My favorite show right now on Dad's Garage is a 20-minute children's show, in fact, called Rolo Joe Story Time. And it is very simple. One improviser reads a book, one improviser pantomimes the whole thing.
Nice.
And then when they're all done and out of breath, they tell a second story from memory, and they each have a trigger. And as they're triggered, they eat a marshmallow. So they told Jack and the Beanstalk, for example, and the trigger was every time we say the word Jack, you eat a marshmallow. So by the end, it's just the two people there trying to tell a story, eating extraordinary large amounts of marshmallow. It's my favorite show. It's plain and simple. So come check it out. That's where I'm at during the week right now, thanks to the current situation. And when I'm not there, just follow me on social media because I do so many things on so many incredible channels, including this one and Roll For It and Unmade Gaming and North by Northwest podcast and occasionally Loot and Dagger as well. And just Arban Aileron's channel. Like I gotta do so much stuff. And if I tried to tell you right now, I'd just stress myself out. So just follow me. Do that thing. As for this show, I would say I think right now it is escape plan. She's about to go in full-on lockdown training mode. She needs to get rid of the radio. I've already started thinking about it. She's got to get rid of the radio. She needs to, like, what do we do? How do we cover for this? I am just like running through worst case scenarios. So that's where my mind will be all week long. Just like last week, my mind was on what am I going to send in this radio call? So it's been all week planning. So thank you for allowing me to use it as a button on the end. It was kind of perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I knew it. I was like, I want that slow motion moment where that message is going out while the Nazis are busting down doors.
Yep. And I have to say, yeah. Oh, well, yeah. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, by the way, the last, all these sessions have been brilliantly ended by D Trooper. Can I just say that it's just been, I as a player, like, like there's a difference between an audience and a player where you're like, oh, I really wanted to hear that or see that. You have left it where I'm like, no, I want to play for 5 more hours. It's not viable. Do not let me play for 5 more
Won't let you.
Don't do it.
So yeah, that's where my mind will be figuring this business out. But outside of the chaos that will be next time or whenever we deal with that situation, I have to say there's love a brewing, and it's going to cause some drama.
You're talking about Mustang, right? Or
I'm talking about all of it. All of it, Trevor. There's like a laundry list of sexual tension building underneath everybody.
Here's the thing.
That's why Sylvie and Tango took care of it.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's only one off the
because we were
list.
just like, oh, what? Sexual tension? Okay, let's do this. Let's go ahead.
Here's the thing, right?
They took care of it before it could even become tension. It's just,
and then you throw in somebody like Regina that has zero empathy skills,
Mm-hmm.
and it's yeah.
Here's the thing. You are, all of you, right? All of your characters are in that really intense situation where people bond real fast, right? Because their lives are on the line.
Yep.
Like, Tango's only been here 2 nights, right? He flew in right on Sunday.
The best date of his life last night, apparently.
Right?
So that was
Apparently. And but the ways there's that way in which
Exactly.
when you rely on people, right? And this happens in the military all the time, you bond so fast and it's so intense, right? Like you're living in a space where at any moment you could all be stopped by that German and they just look at your passport and they don't like it enough, right? Or there's something wrong with your pass, and there's something about that intensity of that moment where you live through these things together, right? Where there's Jules and there's Tango at this party, and Tango sees this Nazi guy tell Jules that he's going to be in some demeaning costume being a waiter at this party.
Yeah.
And there's the way in which all those things together, they bring you together in this sort of, there's an intensity of life, right?
I was about to cause something. I really was. And I know that maybe for role play and for audience value, like I should have maybe, but
but I know, my friend, I know you're rewriting a trouble aspect at the end of this game session, and I'm having a really good time. I'm like, ooh.
So like instead of conning the world, it's going to be the world is my friends, and that's
the world is my friends, and I'm going to be compelling that one, my friends. And,
yeah.
And I'm Trooper SJP. I am your GM, and you can find me here. This is my home, but you can find me at Tales from the Grim on Wednesdays playing The Witcher, which is a bunch of intensity there as well. I'm going to be on tomorrow night at 10 p.m. No, sorry, Sunday night at 10 p.m. I'll be on Polished Cryptid on their Tavern Tales, sort of doing some chat. But really exciting, on Tuesday at o'clock, 11. That's a time period. 11, right? Yeah, sure. I'm going to get the exact time because this is actually very fun and cool. On Tuesday at 11 o'clock, I was right, over on Praxagoratha Prax's channel. I'll link it somewhere. We'll be doing a stage reading of Othello. So if you want to go, because it's, we're in quarantine. So if you want to sort of show up for a stage reading of Othello, please do. It'll be awesome. And I should say, if you all want to support this channel, specifically this show, there are things you can do. One, tell everybody about it so people come and show up. That's the biggest thing. Retweet, host, all of that goodness. Also, if you want for this show, we have a Patreon, and you can sort of become a Patreon, and that will go and help support, pay the cast, and then also do overlays and music and all of that. We've had amazing music by Lizard Eats Flies. We have a good theme song made just for us for this show. And then also we have wonderful overlay work. All of the amazing graphics and promos are done by Frithiel, who is a big professional graphic designer who also does work with Monty Cook Games and all this stuff, and we're really lucky to have that. So all of this is wonderful, and that's kind of support. And we just got a sub. Pitter Patterer has just subbed. Thank you for that sub. It is much appreciated. It helps us here on the channel, and thank you. So I am pretty certain we're going to be having a party coming up pretty soon, and there are surprises at that party. There are surprises at that party, but I will say, Regina sent out a little bit of a distress call at the end of her. At the end of her message. So we'll see how that works out. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it very much. I love you all, and I especially love this cast for committing to this journey and being present. And we're going to do amazing things together. So I will catch you all on the flip side, and I will see you next Friday at the very, very least. Thank you, everybody. Bye.